where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Hi, this is Justin Roberts, and you are listening to 3 Count Thursday. Hope you enjoy.
You're here. What? I'm here.
We're here.
Let's do this!
Best there is, the best there was, or the best there ever will be. What it is what it is.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man.
You're fired.
What's up, 3 Count Thursday fans? This is Bill Neville from the New Age Insiders. Now here's Jim, Ryan, Matt, and intern Mark, your hosts of 3 Count Thursday.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
3 Count Thursday live, NGSCSports.com. Also on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/3 Count Thursday. Make sure you're checking out each and every week and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Android, and Stitcher. We also stream daily at LeapSports.com. Check out our home network at NGSCSports.com. Make sure you check out everything 3 Count related by going to 3CountThursday.com. We have all of our social media. We have our Patreon page there as well. A link to that, our shirts at whatamaneuver.net, and our link to collarandelbowbrand.com, where if you use the promo code 3Count, you can get 10% off of your order. So make sure you check all of that out. As you can see over my right shoulder, a little bit of a different look here in studio. Ryan is going to talk about that here in just a second when we get right into the interview. But if you want to hear about our upcoming guests beyond this week, make sure you head over to the website, 3CountThursday.com. Ryan, how you doing, buddy?
Jim, great to be here like every Thursday. How are you?
It's been a hell of a week. I'm happy we finally hit this podcast so I can put the hell of this week behind me and actually have a fun night.
Right, we gonna have a great night. I'm definitely excited. Hey, we almost made it to the weekend. That's exciting, but even more exciting, tonight we are joined by 2 special guests in studio. This is kind of a new experience for us. We're in studio. If you guys are watching on the Facebook video, do us a favor. Just hit that share button just one time. That's all I'm going to ask, one time, because we're going to have a lot of fun here. We're watching. We got some questions already coming in. That's exciting. Hit the share button. Let us know. Let us know you're watching. What's up? If you guys know anything about women's wrestling, you know the lady sitting next to me. Her name is Lufisto. And at the end of the table, we're also joined by the White Lion himself, Twisted Tate. Thank you guys both for joining us tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
This is very exciting. I know, Lufisto, you don't do many podcasts. So
I hate podcasts.
I know. It's so good. So good. Off to a good start.
Take note, other podcasts.
Right. Yeah, take note, other podcasts we have or you don't. So unlike most of our interviews here, we're lucky enough to have you guys both in the studio. A lot of the time is over the phone. So this is a whole different aspect for our viewers online. And when you're podcasting tonight, it's going to sound a little bit different. So no phone calls, nothing like that. We're very excited to have you guys here. That's what I'm trying to get to. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to try to avoid those basic podcast questions. You know, who were you trained by, and why'd you want to be into wrestling? So we're going to kind of skip over some of that stuff because that stuff's out there. I'm sure you can look up any podcast and find who you were trained by every other podcast you've ever been on. So we're going to stop that right now, and we're going to start off by talking about a huge event that's scheduled for this Saturday as Atomic Championship Wrestling and Rogue Women Warriors presents Here Comes Revenge. Lufisto, you're scheduled to take on the striker Stephanie Sinclair. Obviously, you two have unfinished business. This is something that's been going on for months. We've seen in Rogue competition. What do you think fans can look forward to in this match? Oh, I forgot to mention, it's a tables match.
Oh, definitely. Here's the thing with Stephanie Sinclair. I've known her for years. I actually trained her when I was in Quebec, and even then, when I trained her, she just thought right away that she could do things by herself, and we had like very vicious matches up in Quebec, including like street fights where I ended up completely bloody. And then she came to Rogue, and if anybody saw my match that I had with Jazz, it was going to be, I want to say a classic, because the crowd was into it, and it was a sold-out crowd, and she came in and she kind of destroyed, everything went to a DQ because she got into my business again. So we were scheduled to actually have a match one-on-one, and suddenly she was injured. She disappeared for a few months, and now that she's back...
Weird how that happens, isn't it? It's just strange.
I know, like right away. So Commissioner Luis Swigart gave me the match finally, and it's a table match, so you're playing in my yard.
It's exciting. And and you said about the Jazz match, a fantastic match. I had the privilege of calling that match as I've started to kind of work with you guys a little bit over there with Atomic and Rogue. Fantastic match. Tell everybody where they could find that match, either to download or pick up the DVD.
Yeah, you can get the DVDs on atomicprowrestling.com or on roguewomenwarriors.com. You actually can get the downloads there. And brand new from this week, ACW and Rogue, we do have a pivot share now, so you'll be able to subscribe, and also you can get the downloads there as well.
All right, what better time than now? Where can they find the pivot share? Is that up and launched? We're ready to go with that?
Yeah, there's probably about 8 hours worth of film on there right now.
Okay.
The link is all over. I don't know the actual
ACW Wrestling at pivotshare.com, right?
Yeah, or it might be pivotshare.com. So I will
just
get
go
it
on Atomic.
We'll find that.
It's Atomic
there's a
Wrestling.
link on the site. There's a link on the Facebook pages. There's a link everywhere. We've shared it around. It's got like 30,000 views already. So
super. And then it is just facebook.com.
It's Atomic Championship Wrestling on Facebook.
Atomic Championship. Okay.
I don't have the @ thing.
Okay.
All the links are on the actual website where you can get the Twitter links for both Rogue and ACW.
I'm not too computer smart.
No, that's fine. That's okay.
I'm the
learning.
computer here.
She's been teaching me a little bit.
And I know. On our post promoting for tonight and everything, we have your guys' social media and the Rogue Women Warriors Atomic Championship Wrestling. So all of that can be found even through our website as well. So there's plenty of places.
But yeah, I'm definitely glad you brought up that Jazz match, because that one was fantastic. I immediately bought the DVD. And like an idiot, I had my DVD stacked out. I picked up 2 that I wanted to bring along with. I was going to bring the Jazz one because that was such a good one. That was at the anniversary show.
Yeah,
correct. That was Sweet 17.
Yep.
So definitely check that out. If you're interested in the whole show is fantastic, start to finish. But that match definitely will stand the test of time. Jazz versus Lufisto. That was just a fantastic display of athleticism there.
All right, so Tate, we know. And first off, thank you for not wearing the mask, because that probably freaked me out the whole night. Like when you pick it up,
we can put it on you.
No, that's okay. I think
we're
good enough keeping. I don't know if it would fit around my huge head, so we'll work on keeping that over there. But this Saturday night, you have a singles match, and it is against the icon BJ Walker, who has not been around ACW for a few months. Let people know what they might be able to expect and what you have in store for BJ Walker.
Me and BJ wrestled at Black Friday at CCW. I think it was last year. We had a really, really, really good match. I really enjoyed working with him. He's still young and up and coming. Very hard-hitting guy. So I look forward to doing a rematch with him and in front of the ACW crowd. You know, the CCW crowd loved it. You know, they're a crazy bunch of crew up there, you know, with the crowd chanting all kinds of stuff, and we didn't get no hate. So, you know, it was, it was good. It was fun, and in front of a packed house too. So, I look forward to just, having a great match with him, and helping him with his future, and having just a great time.
He's very much hated by the crowd in
yeah,
Stevens.
Yeah,
definitely.
He's got a loud mouth.
I think he's hated most places that he's at. But I mean, hey, he does it to himself. Obviously, he's got like you said, he has a pretty big mouth on him.
That's for sure. He definitely does. His mouth gets him in trouble probably more than anything. And guys, that's just two of the matches that the fans are going to be able to see this Saturday night. Again, as ACW is taking over the Stevens Fire Hall for Here Comes Revenge. Also scheduled that night, the Atomic Heavyweight Champion Bro Keller is taking on a returning Nick Burke. Correct? He's coming back.
He's returning. Yep. Yeah,
Haven't seen him in a couple years. Has it been a couple years?
He
months?
He was around last year. He wrestled Pepper Parks.
Okay, that's right.
Had a great match. Nick had a neck injury. He actually had a broken neck, and made a return to wrestling. And he's just been trying to get himself back into good shape. And it's hard when you're trying to find bookings and stuff. Again, there's so many wrestlers and stuff now. He kind of got discouraged a little bit, and I was like, why haven't you hit me up, bro?
Sure.
I've known Burke since like the late '90s, and he's like, cool. He's like, I see this champion kid. He's like, I want a shot. He's like, I think I can give him a run for his money.
Awesome.
So
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, bro's been, he's been on a tear.
He really has been.
Yeah. I mean, for a young guy who's not been wrestling that long, he's getting really good.
Yeah, very impressive. Currently the Atomic Heavyweight Champion. Again, we have you actually.
Do you know the day count?
I'm sorry?
How many days?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
That question will make sense a little bit later on here
it absolutely will.
in the interview.
The thing with Bro also is he might be new to the business, but he's in the gym every day. He comes to training, 3-4 times a week minimum?
He actually, I've been training guys since 2000, and kind of got discouraged with it for a little while, and, get some bad eggs coming through every once in a while. You get some really good guys coming through.
It's probably the most dedicated you had.
Yeah, for the last year of new people, he was dedicated. I mean, he brought the love for training people back out in me, and he actually pushes me. I've been, with doing the Lion thing, trying to change my style of wrestling. And being able to train with him, he moves. He's really quick. He's a track.
Really is.
He was a legit track star and stuff. So. Yeah, he's a good kid. Big future.
Awesome. That's awesome.
The funny part is that not too many people know, but Adam Cole actually sent him to him because they're personal good friends.
Really? Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, him and Cole are good buddies. So
Cole did wrestle for ACW.
Yeah, Cole wrestled for ACW. That's going to be hopefully on the new network thing here in the next couple.
I saw
days.
You guys posted a picture about that.
Yeah,
and the site is actually acwprowrestling.pivotshare.com. Commissioner Swigert is doing the work for us tonight. So
doing a great job as always.
And there's just a cheap plug quick. There's the rare, never before seen Commissioner Swigert shoot on. I guess it's now able to be said. It was his thing. He did it on his own, and I didn't know anything about it. Neither did she. But he kind of cut a promo on KPW that. You gotta watch it to be seen.
Yeah, that was scathing. That was
I wasn't there that night, but I saw somebody that was there had taken some cell phone video of it and showed it to me the next day, and I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's definitely something people want to check
for
out.
10 minutes. I thought, we're never coming back to this building ever again.
Yeah, if you got kids around, just make sure they're far away when you press that play button.
That's an earmuff.
Also, if you're listening to this, because we've been tamed so far, but as we always say, we don't edit our show, and we are not PG.
Fuck!
There we go.
You just opened up the floodgates for a lot of bad words.
So if you're offended by 4-letter words, then sorry, not sorry.
No. You've been warned. Real quick, just to catch up with some things here. Somebody wanted to know what was your Wrestle Circus experience like?
Oh, I love Wrestle Circus. Great people, great locker room. The crowd was awesome, and it's just there's so many people. I can't give you a number of the place was packed and everybody was friendly. Wow. And I had a great match with Tessa Blanchard, and I mean when you go backstage and you got Tully right there giving you advices and stuff, that's awesome. That's a great, I'm a big Tully Blanchard fan, and the first time I met him, I was shaking. I was like, "Oh, little Tessa, you have no clue. I love your father, but I love him." And to have him there, guide us through the match and everything is just it's a wonderful experience.
That's awesome.
Hey, great question there, Cliff. Not Cliff. I don't know who the hell it was. Sorry, Chris. Chris said that. Where was I at now?
I actually think Wrestle Circus might be the future, one of the future big companies. Like I have like a small bucket list of things I want to do before I'm done. And what better way to have a lion in Wrestle Circus?
Wow.
So
I mean that does that's actually on the bucket list right now.
Okay.
Even if it's something stupid, or something that no one's gonna like, but I think's funny.
Right.
I'm totally game for it. I still like comedy and wrestling, so
Sure.
And that's okay. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot of people who
I did get flipped by a man's penis last year. So.
That is true.
That's a thing that's going around now. I mean, and there's people that have kind of a negative opinion on like comedy and wrestling or fun in wrestling, as if like there's some kind of bad word or stigma around it. And I'm just like, why? I mean, take it seriously, but also in the same time have fun, enjoy it. Like
in the end, Joey Ryan is bringing back to the bank. He's the man.
He is.
So.
He laughs the whole way.
Yeah,
he laughs the whole way to the bank.
He even tweeted that he might not have been in the top 100 on the PWI 500, but he's probably in the top 25 in bank accounts.
I believe that. I really would.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think he made some noise a little while back when he said about comparing. I think he was in a tiff with Cornette. And he's like, well, let's compare bank accounts.
The funny part is I posted it a couple weeks ago. There's for everybody who doesn't like Joey Ryan or thinks he's a piece of crap or whatever you think of him, there's a Joey Ryan wrestling buddy. So why don't you just buy one, beat it up a little bit? He still wins. He makes the money, and there
you go.
There you go.
Everybody wins there.
Right, and you get to beat up Joey Ryan. That's all it takes. I guess.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to beat up Joey Ryan?
So back to the show here. We're talking about Here Comes Revenge this Saturday night. The Stevens Fire Hall, Stevens, Pennsylvania. We're also going to see the rising star Rob Lloyd. Again, somebody that's just made really, really great strides, I think, in his own personal in-ring ability. It's fun to see him grow month in and month out. He's taking on Hane. Pink Flash Kira is defending the Rogue Darkface Championship against Pro Wrestling's Egyptian royalty, Sahara 7, as she returns to Rogue competition. Also, Special Global Force Women's Champion Sienna. She's taking on Pro Wrestling's first Real Mermaid. So we got the pinkies up. We have the first Real Mermaid in Tess Valentine, who, pardon the pun, here it comes, folks, has been making waves in a Rogue competition. I know. Thank you.
Yeah, she's on quite a roll here lately.
Thank you.
Jesus,
I appreciate
Ryan.
that.
That's the kind of shit that you will make fun of me about.
I made sure in my notes to actually write that one down.
Sakes.
Word for word, I wanted to read that one.
If I said that on a broadcast, you and Matt would make fun of me for half
You know
an
who would
hour.
make fun of you? Dave Meltzer would.
Oh, Christ. We'll
That
get
would be
into
a great T-shirt for Tess Valentine, making waves
Making
everywhere
waves.
she
I wouldn't be where
swims.
she goes.
If Tessa does that, she has to give all of us part of the cut, too.
There it is. So outside of your own matches that you guys are set up with, again, the Striker, Stephanie Sinclair, BJ Walker, what match are you guys looking forward to this weekend?
I personally been on as a promoter, been on like kind of a little bit of a personal mission. I really believe in Rob Lloyd a lot, and I've been trying to book him against talent that's going to push him and help him go to the to a further level. And him and Hane
step up to the plate.
Yeah, he doesn't drop the ball. That's for sure. He's I brought a kid in from
Sonny Vice, really good match.
Sonny Vice from Ohio.
Great match.
Yeah.
Really good match. Great way to start off the show, too.
Yeah, there was a kid named Dylan from Indiana we brought in, and one of our old guys, Johnny Vicious. They had some great matches. Him and Hane had really good matches too.
The ladder match.
The ladder match, and then he had the feud with Robbie Illuminati for a while,
absolutely.
and everything I send to him, he knocks out of the park. So, I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to do this weekend, and I just keep hoping to see bigger and better things out of him, and I honestly feel he's got the I don't want to say the it factor because it's so huge, but overused, but he definitely has this potential to make something out of himself in this business.
He is a rising star.
He is. he also has the longest ring entrance and the longest leaving the ring departure ever.
You guys can actually take Carolina Jim out of the ring because he mimes the whole thing as Carolina Jim saying it.
Yeah.
Right along with Jim the whole way. So Jim can actually just take the back seat once. Just give him. He knows what to say. Just give him the mic. He'll be good to go. Lufisto, is there a match that you're looking forward to?
I'm really looking forward to see Gemma Cross live for the first time. She's a newcomer to Rogue. She's been doing really good on the East Coast, so it's always I love when new talent comes to Rogue, because I would like Rogue to be a place where new girls come and have the opportunity to work with people who have more experience, and the crowd is really fun as well, so they've been really welcoming to the girls. So definitely her and Angie Sky should be a good matchup. And Raylan is back as well.
That's exciting.
So, yeah, she's going to take on the Crimson Queen, Rebecca Payne, with Gillette, the MILF of ACW, who...
and that again, is his mother.
I'd like to fuck. We can say it. It's not PG.
Oh, I thought it was a mother I'd like to fight.
Yeah, that's what she says.
Is that
but
what she says?
that's
Is
not,
that what it is?
Yeah.
It's like Pog, like it's perfect athletes with glutes, but everybody knows it's fat ass white girls. I mean, it is what it is.
That's that you and
Jordan Grace.
Right, Team Pog.
Team Pog.
And it's funny, and I'd love to hear that Ray Lynn's coming back, because Jim, you have a Ray Lynn story. We had Ray Lynn on the podcast once, and she didn't know what we looked like, obviously, or anything like that. We had just said that Jim also dances. And,
You twerk?
And
I
see,
do not.
she
Show
knows.
it. Camera's right there.
I do not. I do not.
And so we're like, hey, maybe
How
after
about
the match.
we get 100 likes and Jim has to twerk?
Oh,
Twerk,
that'd be-
twerk.
We actually we were trying to get Jim into a body bag at the Legacy show from Mr. Grimm. We're trying to, and Jim's claustrophobic, so this is a big deal for Jim.
Extremely.
So, I don't want to embarrass him too much with twerking and then have to stuff a man up. And actually, you twerking might put you in a body bag.
I was gonna say. I mean, I don't know if the ticker's ready for me to do any twerking. So we probably don't want to do that. We don't want any deaths on air. I think we probably advise against
I'm
that.
seeing a lot of thumbs on your screen up there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was too.
That's to him saying about the 100 likes. So luckily,
that was the 100 likes. There it is.
Yeah, keep them coming.
I don't know if we can count them. Like, I don't see any counter up here. So I'm
That's
just going
what it
to
is.
hope. That,
Lee did throw up that the pun with what the heck? Tess Valentine is like saying Lee is on a roll through ACW. So it's
Lee's always on a roll.
It's always on a roll.
That's fantastic.
You know, there's one other match before we move on to something else. It's been a little while since the Blackout has been a tag
Blackout
team.
is
I
back.
actually
yes.
I just thought of that when you said Robbie Illuminati. I forgot to include them. They're the new ACW Tag Team
They
Champions.
are.
They are.
That's
Yes.
huge.
Yeah, Ruckus has been a friend of mine for since his first match. I actually worked the MEWF Maryland show when he had his first match down there, and you just watching the kid in the ring, and even before, and he was pudgy back then. He was a hefty dude, and he was like legit getting 3 or 4 steps up a wall and doing flips off the wall, and it was insane.
His early stuff was crazy.
It was insane. He came and worked a show not long after. I mean, we're talking like within 6 months after he debuted. He came and worked a show for Rock and Rebel. Rebel ran a show in Westchester and had all the bigger CZW guys there at the time. Wife Beater, Gage. What was the guy's name that no one likes? Justice Payne. I don't personally have an issue with him, but everybody who says CZW, they're like, I hate that guy. It's like he was always nice to me.
I was gonna say Big Jim, but neither one.
But
thanks, Ryan.
He was gone right away. He went right to CZW. And the funny story is, that makes the story even better, is that same night the Briscoe brothers were there with their amateur wrestling gear and their things with Van Hammer from WCW. He was booking the show. Me and Rebel used to be really tight with him. And here he brings these 2 kids, and he's like, yeah, I've been training them in the Nitro ring in my barn. And it was the Briscoe brothers. Wow. They came in, and they were right to CZW Ring of Honor with it. They weren't even legal age to wrestle in Pennsylvania at that point.
Which is 17?
It was 18.
18 then? Okay.
Yeah, then they might have been barely 17.
Wow.
Yeah, but they were just started training. They were amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
We actually we bumped into somebody not too long ago, Corey, and we were talking about Van Hammer. I guess he was part of an early Atomic show when you guys were running out at the brewery. Is that
no? It was actually. I'll make a real quick story. I was sitting at home watching Nitro, and flipping back and forth like everybody did.
Sure.
And I was living with my grandparents, and my grandmother would, when I was gone, she would answer the phone for, because we used our house line as like the ticket line thing. And I come home and she'd have like notes wrote like, oh, Road Warrior Hawk called today, and and all these people were calling and they're having conversations with my grandmother. It was cool because my grandmother will like always watch wrestling with me. She knows more about wrestling than most workers do.
Wow.
And she's like, oh yeah, the phone's ringing from like Atlanta, Georgia or somewhere it was, and I pick up the phone and I'm like, hello. And he's like, is this Atomic Championship Wrestling? I was like, yeah. He's like, this is Heavy Metal Van Hammer. He's like, I see you got a show Wednesday night. I just got fired from WCW. He's like, can I work your show?
Wow.
So literally 2 days later, he was debuted for me, and he did a lot of work for us back then because like the internet wasn't super huge in 2000. It was, but it wasn't. But like he put in a lot of stuff with PWI for us and had Bill Apter like into it. Bill Apter was promoting me for like for the first show as like the youngest promoter to ever promote in Pennsylvania because I was just like 18.
Wow.
Wow. And
what a show.
yeah, and it was a good show. The ring broke. The ring broke. But I mean, my first show had Van Hammer, Nova, DeVito of the Baldies, the Patriot was on it. There was a whole bunch of people on it. And it was on a Wednesday night.
On a Wednesday night.
In a pavilion. And we had like 300 some people.
About Adamstown, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, at the Rotting Gun Club. It's in the middle of nowhere.
It sure is right in the middle of nowhere. Andy Weinberg actually checked in somehow. I guess we allow Fruit Loops to watch our show.
Oh, for Christ's sake, Ryan.
I don't know. He said Tate is in the house, and now he can clean it. So that's Andy Weinberg and his Fruit Loop loving ass. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't
Jim,
know.
you might get it. I don't know.
24/7 gimmick.
I don't know where the Fruit Loop thing started. But
he enjoys the Fruit Loops. It's very clear. I know you. Yeah,
I don't look at Facebook too much. Like I don't look at the feed or anything too much. But I actually caught the Fruit Loop picture you're speaking about last night.
Yeah.
Because like 50 people retweeted it.
I don't think it's doctored. I think it's the real thing. I'm just putting it out there. He's got really great legs.
I don't know what you're talking about. So.
We'll show you right when we get off the air.
Jesus, Ryan,
it's tough to see.
I think you're gonna have some trouble next week, Ryan. But we'll talk about that later and next week. If you're following along the Facebook video, like and share it. I would appreciate that. Post questions if you want to get some in.
Still need 100 likes to get
we'll
Jim
try.
to twerk.
We'll try and get those in
poor
there.
guy's gonna throw it back.
Are you coming to the show Saturday?
I'm going to try to make it out.
If we get 1,000 likes, he'll twerk in the ring
in
front of the whole
ring
crowd.
with Raylan.
Oh, wow. Jesus. There you go.
Oh, but I guess
the ring's just going to tip over.
Bumping booties?
Thanks, Ryan.
Raylan's just going to go flying out the damn door.
A new box of bootios.
Jesus, Ryan. You think the way you're calling me a fat ass this week, you'd be on the perfect podcast. But that's a whole nother story.
It's okay, I'm a fat ass too.
In and of itself. Obviously, we've talked about some of the matches this weekend. But before that, Sienna is going to be holding a seminar. Let people know, for people who are in the business and are in the area, and they should absolutely be out at this. There's no excuse not to be. Tell people how they can sign up and be a part of this.
You just have to go on acwprowrestling.com. There's a link right there. You can pay right there with PayPal. You can learn from one of the hottest women in professional wrestling right now. And how did she put it? Learn the savagery from Sienna.
There you go. That's perfect.
No, it's a great way to invest in yourself, and especially if you're a woman wrestler, you definitely want to learn from Sienna, who's great in the rings, great on the mic. She's great with her character, or the way she presents herself, in and out of the ring, great etiquette. So there's many things I think she could teach the new and older trainees, and also the seminar. If you're interested in anything she would have to say, it's open to everybody. She just want to come down and sit down and learn from her. Just sitting and absorbing all her knowledge, you are welcome as well. And also, that's one thing we didn't say, but if there's any female wrestlers that join the seminar, Sienna's seminar this Saturday, that are not booked on the show, we will find a spot for them on the show. So it's a great opportunity to learn from one of the best, and also
we could have a 6-hour show this weekend.
We could have a 6-hour, but it's okay.
Why not?
There's no boxing bout afterward that we have to leave.
Yeah, we don't have to deal
anything.
with Mayweather, McGregor, whatever. So.
Did you guys end up watching that? Did you guys watch it, or?
Yeah, I did. I found a feed and watched it.
Yeah.
As bad as it sounds, people paid $100 and it was
I think most everybody sounds like they found a feed.
I was gonna say I found a feed on Instagram and watched
There was a feed on Facebook that had 1.2 million viewers.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think the feed I was watching on Instagram, the person that broadcast the feed had, I think, 15, 16 followers or something, and there was 4,000 people watching it. It's great.
One thing about the Sienna seminar is, I talk to Adam Lavelle every once in a while, and like him or not, he has some really good points to some of the local guys in the area. Some people agree with some people don't. There's like Rob Noxious's guys, they train like religiously, die hard. Totally commend them. They do a great job. They're always there. They're always training. We do a lot of training with our local students, and they're all planning on trying to as many of them as can take it. It's $50, but investing in yourself in this business, especially on with somebody. I guess Impact is still considered the number 2 or number 3 Fed in the in the United States, and you got their champion in the ring, who the company believes in for a reason, and she's the champion that you can learn from is a great thing. Even I personally don't know what she's going to be, drilling out there and stuff, but you can pick her brain about anything from like gear choices to anything. So especially for people who are in like their first year or 2 or 3 in the business, you can learn a lot. That's why we bring them, because ACW was started for the sole purpose of giving guys who don't get booked other places a place to work. We never intended to go be this huge company. It's not a place for huge payouts. But it's a small company. It's a small show. We've expanded a lot. Especially with our set and our sound system and stuff. I put a lot of money out into it over the years, but it's just a place to groom talent, to try to help them get somewhere else. Sure. I think that's a big misconception. Everybody's like, oh, well, you don't run this big building, or you don't run the the convention centers, or anything like that. It's not that we wouldn't mind doing it at some point, but we still stick to the same thing of trying to help people grow and get to the next level.
Sure.
We have people that have worked for Rogue that now work at Shimmer.
Yeah.
They came in. They weren't booked. All over the place, and some of them have been on Shimmer. Angie Sky worked Shimmer after she was there once before and went along out, and
Stephanie St. Clair had a great outing last Shimmer show. She did the Rise show, and then the following day she did the Sparkle matches, which are just before Shimmer, which gave her a great opportunity to show what she could do. And it got her name out there, and she's back on the next Rise show. She's going to be there again. Stephanie St. Clair is one of them that will take all the seminars.
Right.
She takes each and every seminar that we give, or that are out there. She's out there to learn, and she really works hard.
Right. No, and I know even Danny Cage, I think, who does a lot of training, often says about, seminars and investing in yourself. And you think $50, but Madden just came out, or Destiny 2, both are more expensive than that seminar is going to be this Saturday. And that seminar is just going to pay yourself back. Time and time again. When
it comes to be a pro wrestler, you got to make choices. Like, being a pro wrestler is a lot more than just train and be the sport. You gotta, like you said, you gotta invest in yourself, and that means making choices. Are you gonna pay for a seminar, or gear, or boots, knee pads, whatever you need? Are you gonna get that game, or are you gonna go to that restaurant, or pay $15 to see a damn movie?
Right.
You gotta choose. What's more important for you? Do you want to be a professional wrestler, or do you want to hang out and just chill and whatever? So you got to make a choice. If you really want to be a pro wrestler, you go to the seminar. If you don't really care, you'll buy that game and sit on your butt and whatever. There's not a wrong answer. It all depends to where you want to go, what you want to be, what is your goal in the end.
Yeah, I think I see it, like Ryan said, Danny Cage. You'll see him say that, everybody wants to make it, but nobody wants to put the time in. So, this is a huge opportunity, and in this area, it's right in our backyard, and a great environment. I don't make it to every show. Ryan's there. He's on the commentary team.
Doing a great job, too.
Definitely.
But every time I go there...
James carries that.
Not me.
No, other James.
I can't carry you for shit. My knees aren't that good. But no, the environment there is just awesome. I mean, the crowd's passionate, and they're loud. It is. If you've never been there, make sure you get out.
And Haynes just said spend $50 and learn. If not, it's really your own fault. So he's checking in on the show. Thank you, Haynes, for checking in.
Yeah, that's a good shout out for Haynes.
A Ralph Waltman checks in. He says the first time he's ever seen an ACW show was at the Smoketown Fire Hall.
Smoketown, yeah.
Smoketown.
Actually, that's our next probably next week's priority is to try to get some of that footage. That's where Cole wrestled for us. Like Smoketown's even a smaller town than Stevens. There's literally like one row of houses. That's it, and then you're gone. Like you can close your eyes.
Is that the one up there by 30?
No. Smoketown is actually close to Stevens. It's like maybe a 5-6 minute drive.
Oh, so it is Smoketown.
Smoketown.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah,
I've heard of Smoketown. I lived here my whole life.
They literally Smoketown is the little shitty airport.
Right, the little
by
shitty
30,
airport,
but no,
not
yeah.
that one. Okay.
No, not that one.
Wow.
It literally is probably 20 to 30 houses in the town.
Wow, never heard of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a lot of guys who were young in the business, like started there. Like Dahmer came over while he was still the head trainer at CCW. When
John Dahmer.
When Zandig still had the company, and like Little Mondo was there, Niles Young, Adam Cole, Black G's.
I'm just thinking about Dahmer's entrance.
Oh yeah, it's always a classic.
He is.
Yeah, the list of talent that went through this little fire company that now is like something that have.
Haynes says, "How about the Haynes versus La Parka?"
That happened at Smokestone.
Happened at Smokestone, yeah.
Yeah, there was like all kinds of people. Julio De Niro had what he told me was, if you guys remember Julio De Niro from ECW, he was in TNA with CM Punk as a tag team partner for a little bit.
Okay.
He said he had one of his best matches ever in that building. I don't remember who he wrestled. It was actually a local guy, and I mean they went out there and had a super indie match before there was a thing known as super indie. Yeah, I mean it was like absolutely crazy. Axel Rotten wrestled there a lot. Balls wrestled there.
Okay.
A lot of the ECW roster that hasn't, that wasn't there before,
Eventually, they should. All these matches should be on.
There's
the
literally
Exciting.
we did Smokestown every month from 06 to I think 2011. So all that footage hasn't been spotted. Maybe even 12. So all that footage is literally in DVD boxes at our house. Yeah,
That's exciting. And what was the address again? acwwrestling.pivotshare.com.
That's it. Yes.
That's it. And other James, the commentator here for ACW and Rogue, said, "Fun fact: all the Smoketown shows started at 4:20. 4:20 in the evening. There it was.
Gotcha. I
it
swear to
was.
God.
One of those
I swear to
nights.
God, if you ever give me shit
There's so many bad
for
jokes.
puns and bad
It's
jokes
all
on
about
this show ever again,
Jim,
I'm going to kick your ass.
All about delivery. So let's talk about ACW for a bit. We've kind of reached back in the archives and talking about this for a while. The company's been around, Tate, for how many years now? Have you been doing this
It's
for?
actually tattooed on my arm. It's 8/23/2000.
2000, so 17 years.
17 years.
17 years have been running strong. We just had and I should have known this.
There was a
obviously.
little break in between like 04, 05. We pretty much didn't do much at all. Like I
Okay.
took time like training guys to try to be able to have like that little base roster, to help out.
What do you think can you attribute to ACW sticking around for? I mean, it seems like, especially in indie wrestling, that an indie wrestling promotion can pop up one day and just kind of be gone tomorrow, or you put the wrong investor in, or you put the wrong anything. I mean,
The key is never go in with another partner.
is that what it is?
Yeah, don't ever go in with a partner, and you only have like we agree on like 99% of everything. So
Okay.
it's like totally easy, Sometimes I'll book some of the female talent. Sometimes she, hey, get this guy. So it's like, sometimes it's the anarchy during the booking, who do we got for this? And it's like, oh, but I don't know. I feel that there's a lot to come, it's like we're like Hollywood's finest, only getting started, There's just we started off with a platform of giving young guys who were just coming out of wrestling schools places to work, beefed it up to using some of the best talent out there that was undiscovered at the time, and then now we brought women's wrestling to the area, like more of like half a show everything every month, so who knows what's next. I have a vision. I'm sure Lee's listening. Lee got the vision drawn out on a placemat at the sushi restaurant like a week or two ago.
Lee, keep a hold of that. Let's get that frame, maybe.
There's a vision. there's all kinds of stuff. It's just like taking risks and stuff like that, you know. But for the time being, you know, we'll be in Stevens. You know, the future, you don't know what it holds. It could be one day the right opportunity or the right place to be up. Ideally, we want our own arena, like that's set up for wrestling school and has like a set feel to it. Okay. That it's more of a show.
You say set feel kind of like a Lucha Underground sort of feel?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Similar to that?
I would love that.
Yeah,
I
it has
think
to have
Lucha Underground
like
has the best.
Yeah, Lucha
absolutely.
Underground brings that mix of wrestling, reality, and movie all to one. You know, and I actually am a huge. I don't like watching wrestling. Like I haven't liked watching wrestling in years. Like I stopped watching it for a while. Okay. We used to watch the pay-per-views and stuff, and have some friends over. But it wasn't. It was for me. It was more hanging out with the friends and like bullshitting. You know. But Lucha Underground like really pulled me back in. Like I tried to binge watch Lucha Underground. Like she'd be sleeping and I'm like 5 hours up. Like I'm watching, man.
Eyes taped open.
Yeah, drinking Ecto Cooler like by the case and just like pounding that shit. You know, it's just like oh yeah, I gotta watch more. Then like she would want to watch the next day and I'm like oh yeah, I'll rewatch it again. Like I literally watched season 1 and 2 probably 30 times.
Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, what was your take on like Wrestling Society X when that came out? Because that kind of had the same feel, that little bunker feel. And this is a throwback. If you guys don't know what it is, check it out on there's YouTube videos all over the place.
The bogus explosions and stuff, that kind of bugged me a little bit. Too over the top.
Okay.
Too over the top,
okay,
yeah.
That's fair.
But, I mean, the talent they had for that thing at the time, like, there was undiscovered talent. Like, Matt Sydal was there. Ruckus was there. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on. It was like they had everybody who was anything in the next 5 years on their show. Teddy Hart was on there. Jack Evans was on there.
Mr. Money there?
Yep.
I don't know.
Everything is about
Vampiro was there. Joey Ryan was there.
Joey Ryan was there. The list really reads as a who's who, especially
if you do the
10
math
years.
and the homework on Joey Ryan, that guy's had one hell of a career.
Yeah.
He has been everywhere. The founder of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Now we're actually let's hold on that. We're going to get to Joey Ryan later. I do have a question about Joey Ryan because you have a history with him as well. And a little bit,
I can only imagine.
a little bit ago, you kind of segued us perfectly into where Jim was going to take us next.
Yeah, obviously, your women's division, Rogue Women Warriors. The first night that we saw action inside the Rogue division was back at ACW's My Bloody Valentine in February of 2016. And if you look down over, that night, Solo Darling, Kimberly, Annie Social, Veda Scott, Jenny Rose, obviously, Lufisto, you were there. How did you guys come up with the concept for, and maybe even the name as well, for Rogue Women Warriors?
I don't remember exactly how it happened.
I bugged you for a while.
Yeah, he bugged me for a while because I've been involved with other promotions when I was in Montreal, and twice it ended up in, I'm sorry, complete bullshit. One of them, like, they basically took everything, the contacts and everything, and then, we don't need you. So I was like, fuck women's wrestling. Well, not fuck women's wrestling, but taking care of it and, making the calls and calling the friends and then booking people. I was like, no. So he bugged me for a while, and then I'm like, well, what?
It wasn't really bugging. It was just like, she came aboard with ACW, and
I'm a multimedia person. I might have had many chair shots on my head, but I actually have 2 degrees. I'm actually a graphic designer and multimedia. So I started helping him with the website and try to get decent DVDs out and videos and stuff. And we wanted to bring some girls, but to the point where it was a division. I mean, there was long talks about it, and here's the thing.
I just started booking people, and then she's like, "Yeah, okay." Like Jordan Grace was like new to the area; she just moved to the area. Ashley America was still around. Rebecca Payne,
Tara
Calloway. Those were the 4 women that were like in a drivable distance.
Okay.
So I started with them, then the Brittany Blakes popped up, and the Penelope Fords now and stuff like that. So there's actually women's talent around here. But my test of the water was when I first booked her and brought her to the company. I wanted to see the reaction that she got beating me for the men's title. It was kind of like almost like redoing like kind of her thing with Kevin a little bit, where she comes in. I mean, she literally, I wrestled Rebel in a cage, went over. And I challenge any man, woman, or child in the building. She comes through the curtain. The place goes absolutely apeshit. For the first time at an indie show, I literally could not hear myself think.
Wow.
So
That's
she
awesome.
comes in. She destroys me in, 3 minutes?
No, it was a little bit longer than that.
It was short. Like I
beat your ass.
Yeah, and the place goes bananas. So, I'm like an okay social media guy. I'm a terrible speller. I'll admit that. So if you guys see spelling mistakes, I suck at spelling. Like, I am book stupid. But the next month, like the next time she came back, I think it was in the following month.
Yep.
The place was absolutely packed to the gills. Like I was actually just watching the film because it's going to go up onto the network thing, and it was absolutely packed. So that was like the testing of the water. It's like, oh, cool. They got back. They were yelling women's rights. All kinds of, because I played the whole douchebag dude. Shitting on a woman type thing, and
wearing those ugly pink shorts.
Yeah.
God damn, I'm glad those things are gone.
That was back in your with Pretty in Pink days.
No, I was doing the Messiah thing at the time with the haunted Vietnam priest cape. It was a legit Vietnam priest cape, and every time I took that thing out of my bag and had it hanging in my house, all kinds of shit happened in my house. Like there was noises,
you don't want that in your house.
everything everywhere. So yeah,
Thanks for not bringing
I
that with you
actually sold
thank
it.
you.
So.
I do.
Sold.
Thank
Good,
God.
good.
I would have lit the thing on fire after the first. Like,
It's a religious cape. You can't light it on fire.
oh, you watch me.
There goes 3 Count Thursday.
There it goes. Right.
Now
Straight to hell.
We have the Dark Face Championship here. What
A
exactly?
beautiful belt, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely is. I love that belt.
What exactly?
It is so beautiful that it's been copied. Like
Really?
There's
Yeah.
like 10 bootleg belts of that.
of it,
Wow,
and
shit.
not just the design, like even the Dark Face name is
Really?
on the belt. I was like, we've
crazy.
seen that online. I'm like, what?
It's unreal. What exactly does that mean? Like for those listening that maybe aren't familiar with Rogue and the championship, what does Dark Phase Championship?
Why we chose Rogue? Because I've always felt that, everybody talks about the women's revolution like it's a new thing, but it's not true. Women's revolution in wrestling started a few years ago, and it's all the hard-working women of the independent circuit who went out there and fought with the guys and worked so hard to be more than just an attraction on a show. I'm talking about companies who work really hard to make women wrestling what they are today, companies like Shimmer and Shine Wrestling. And we wanted Rogue because when you go rogue and you make your own thing, I think that's what women did. Nobody would give them the place. I mean, there's always that promotion who will give women wrestler the spot, but to get out there and become more and be seen as an equal, you kind of have to go rogue and do your own thing, and that's why the name is Rogue. Why is it Dark Face? At first, we wanted to have 2 championships. The Dark Face was supposed to be like the in-between, and then the women's would be the the bigger title of the Rogue Championship.
The Rogue belt was actually a surprise for her. She had no idea that was coming. I had it designed. I've been a belt maker for years. I personally made this belt.
Oh, nice.
I've done the leather and everything on this belt, but the plates, I had them designed, and she had no idea about them. They came to the house one day, and I was doing legit all the work to try to have it done by the time she got done with what she was doing that day and surprise her with it. So my idea of the dark face thing is like, if you go rogue and you're on your own, you're in a bad place in your head. So you're in a dark place.
Sure.
So that's pretty much where it comes from. The dark phase is the dark place that you're in when you're going rogue and becoming a warrior to destroy everything and everybody and break every barrier that you possibly have to jump through and come over. There's actually meaning behind the belt.
That's
it's not
awesome.
it's just not, oh, check out my world title.
Right, like
yeah.
It's also Dark Face because to the champion, it is a Dark Face because there's no rankings. Anybody could challenge for it. So every time if you're a champion, you got to be ready for everybody at every show. Could be someone who's been there before, somebody new, somebody. It's not like like I said, there's no ranking.
Right.
It could be anybody. So it is a Dark Face for the champion because, I mean, anybody like
anytime.
Exactly,
ready,
anytime.
yeah.
Like Kira fought one of her best friends last show in NG Sky, who is a former champion, and now she's facing Sarah 7, which she's never faced before, and actually never been. I think she wasn't on the same show when she was here at Rogue.
No,
so
she
to
wasn't.
her, it's something totally new,
Have
and
to
it's
do
a
some
hell of an
research.
opportunity for Sahara to come and,
Sure
and
is.
get her hands on the championship.
Now, do either of you have a favorite match, Rogue match so far?
I have a few. One that really stands out to me that was really good and set the pace for Rogue and put in my soul that I knew it was going to work was Kimberly versus Jessica Havoc. That match was phenomenal. To concrete it into my head pretty much almost the whole way was when I brought her personal friend Awesome Kong in as a surprise to her. And I was like, okay, yeah, the people are here. They're digging it. You know, they love it. And then the match with Jazz was just boom. You know, it just like, this got to keep going. Like, you know, it's just got to keep rolling forward. And, you know, it just seems like people are enjoying it. There's actually, we have a fan who's actually kind of a friend of ours. No, well, he is a friend of ours. He became a friend of ours about 8-9 months ago. His name's Daniel. He's from Virginia.
Okay.
He drives up.
Wow.
He drove all the way from Virginia to our show, and then he was working in Ohio. For one day he was in Ohio, then he drove all the way back to Bethlehem. Now he's coming to the Siena seminar this Saturday,
Awesome.
going to WSU, and then driving back to catch the second half of our women's show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he's a committed fan, and plus we made other great friends through it. Harry Mellinger, he's an elderly gentleman. He legit just loves women's wrestling. He supports it, you know, like fully. You know,
Absolutely.
and seeing the people, you know, happy. There's a guy named Dave too from Ephrata. He like legit just loves it. Like I get messages, hey, you know this person. You know, you ever think about this person in the future? You know, and guys like him, you know, it's you know, we have good wrestling conversations. There are some fans who send me some real shitty, weird inbox messages like,
I got one.
if you don't bring
yesterday.
if you don't bring this person in, we're not coming to your show.
We accept sponsorship. I'm just saying.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Yeah, we get like inboxed, tagged, all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's just like, there is a budget, and it's a small fire company.
Right.
You know, it holds 200 people.
Right.
You know, it's just like, if you want to bring out like $2,500 and throw it in the pot, you know, to make something happen.
Sure.
Go, yeah, just send me an inbox. But I've been inboxed people who are no longer living and asked to have them on the show before.
Don't even doubt that. I really don't. That's sad.
Can you bring Bam Bam Bigelow to the show? I'm like, I knew him personally. Like I met him a couple times. It's like, you know, and I was in a mood that day. I replied, you know, please don't hate me, but I was like, are you gonna dig him up?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. What
Well, I honestly, I mean, not to be insensitive to it, but I was going to say, I mean, if
Scott was a great
you
guy.
get him
but
exhumed, I guess we could.
The last one,
It's
there was.
terrible.
I've been requested 3 times this past month for Hulk Hogan.
I was actually going to say that. You said 2,500. Hell, that should be enough to bring in the Hulkster to Stevens, Pennsylvania. Like, I
Make
get
it
like
thousands.
right thousands. Right? Yeah.
I get that people are like super hyped about the shows and they want to meet who they loved as you know, kids and stuff. You know, that's like the other great things about some of the other companies that do run bigger venues and have, you know, bigger sponsors and all that good stuff that are bringing in, you know, the people that they want to see. That, you know, we can sell Stevens out for some of these people, and the sellout tickets would not even equal the price tag of the
Right,
worker.
to cover that, right.
So it's like, you know, I mean, I get people don't understand, you know,
Sure,
you know,
sure.
you just want to see, you know, like the host was huge. You could do a lot of cool things at the host.
Sure.
You know, you know.
A lot of people don't know that before you open up the venue, you got to pay for insurance, the state, the license, the doctor,
The building.
taxes. So right away, you're what, like $600, $700 right away before you even start the show.
Wow.
Before even the first.
Before
the first guest even
before
comes
you
in,
get
right.
you open up the
The
door.
first fans,
That's
right.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's stuff that, like, you know, I mean we've you know been around indie wrestling for a couple of years now, and that's the kind of stuff that
And that's owning.
Would have never
that's
thought
owning all
about.
your own equipment too. Like we have
Right,
the
you're not
ring,
renting
the
anything,
sound.
right.
Yeah, you know.
when we say, I mean, and we hashtag it, and it gets missed with everything else. But support indie wrestling, and that's the reason. Like, go out there, support the men and women that are out here doing this. Every single week, every weekend. That's a lot to do. And
us guys and girls who've been around for a long time, I think, appreciate that a lot more than the younger generation do, because we're still out there busting our asses.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not no young kid anymore. I'm getting closer to 40. But like.
I have gray hair.
I mean, this goatee here is like all white, but I think, guys like myself and Rockin' Rebel and Rob Noxious and even guys like Ruckus who've been around for a long time, and of course herself, and the list goes on and on. I appreciate that support indie wrestling, I think, a lot more than what the younger generation does in wrestling.
Chris Hoover, who I think you guys know,
yes,
he wants to know if he can bring in Andre. So that's
that's been a little bit of an ongoing joke for the last year or two.
So we're hoping to see that. Charlie, thank you for joining us. He just said delete. I think that's all he ever says to us.
Perfect.
Again, we are joined tonight by Twisted Tate, the White Lion, and Lufisto. Thank you guys again so much for joining us. If you guys are enjoying the show,
you want to put the mask on?
If you want to,
No,
you want to.
Put it on.
I've got to talk right now. There we go. Lufisto can do this one. And it's actually a question directly about her, so this is a great time.
Sweet.
If you guys are, like I said, if you guys are enjoying the show, hit the share button for us. We appreciate that. We'd be missing out, obviously, tonight if we don't talk about the Shine. This 100 likes. The Shine Wrestling with you, Lufisto. Tonight actually marks night 237. That's right. I did my math. I think it's right. 237 days that you have held the Shine
Championship. Get some likes on there for that. Won't worry about me twerking.
Right, there we go. Let's hit the likes for that.
I'll blow out my hip or something like that. But yeah, definitely for that.
Now, next Friday night, next Friday night, and this, again, God willing that Hurricane Irma and everything like that is taken care of, you're set to defend the championship at Shine 45. Tickets are still available for this. If you can't make it down to Florida, it does stream live on FlowSlam as it's part of the WWN Live family. What are your thoughts, Lufisto, on defending the gold again?
Well, I've been champion since last January, and I would consider myself really fortunate to have that opportunity with Shine, because they do let me defend it everywhere I want, pretty much. So for the first time, it was defended in Texas, it was defended in Pennsylvania, defended it too in Canada. I will defend it if I'm still champion next week. There's a Shine Championship match schedule in Nashville, Tennessee.
Card subject to change.
But, yeah, it's been, for me, it's a great adventure because I've been doing this for so long, and everywhere I've been, I was a babyface. And I kind of grew tired of it, and Shine just and nobody gives me the mic. People think I can't talk, and I have that big French accent. I know it.
Tabarnak.
But yeah, tabarnak. All right.
But you say fuck okay. I thought it was more of a fack, but it sounds all right.
No,
that's fact the Miz.
Yeah, fact. No, that comes. You know where that comes from? That's from the Sheik, the Iron Sheik.
Oh, is that okay?
He says, "Fuck the Cogan, fuck it."
Oh,
so
okay.
I say, "Fuck."
I've heard you around Rogue and Atomic saying "fack." I thought it was just your accent.
No, I say "fuck." No,
oh, okay. So you say "okay."
No, I make you humble, motherfucker.
She says it like that when she eats too many ketchup chips.
Those ketchup chips are so
Kraft
good.
peanut butter.
They are delicious.
Kraft peanut butter, best in the world.
Kraft peanut butter.
Can you believe? Yeah, we have Kraft cheese here, but not the peanut butter, and it's the best.
It actually is amazing.
Anybody who lives in Canada, bring me the Kraft, the light peanut butter. I love coffee crisps also, which are not available here, or anything that comes from Tim Hortons.
Or Putin.
I like Putin, but it's too much. I get one, and I'm like.
I legit will invite you guys over to the house because I brought Putin mixes and stuff along back. So we will have it. Yeah.
Nice.
My mother
Putin
actually has
fest.
a curd cheese hookup too, because you cannot find curd cheese locally.
Correct.
So yeah, we're gonna do like a Putin fest before
please,
fall.
Please.
So that is how you become Lufisto's friend, is bring her back something from Tim Hortons or
coffee.
Coffee. Okay.
And anybody coming from Allentown area this weekend, there is a Tim Hortons in Allentown now. So please,
but
bring
the
us all kinds of
donuts
stuff.
are not the same though. You got to go to Canada.
Yeah, I was up there. My wife and I were up in Ottawa and Toronto last fall. on our anniversary, and like I went nuts on the Tim Hortons. I went
That was
absolutely
good.
fucking
But
crazy.
the food up there is a lot healthier than here too. So there's no trans fat in their food.
Oh, well,
They check.
way to ruin it
everything.
for me.
Dude, trust me, I put down a 6-pack of donuts for breakfast up there.
Okay, Shine. I was like, where?
Yep, so, yeah. And you actually talk about it. You just defended the championship 2 weeks ago at Rogue against Holidead.
Yep.
And that was the first time it was ever defended in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You know, it's quite an honor for me to be able to call that match. But how awesome is that to be able and Shine, you know, gives you the freedom to do something like that.
Yeah, and how it happened is I did some Shine shows here and there throughout the years, and when I showed up to it was Shine 37 if I'm correct, and they just went, okay, here's the mic, go out there, just shoot or whatever, and you're a heel, and just go out there, and they just let me go, and I felt free, but it felt so rewarding that they would just like take the mic and they let me cut promos every time, whether it is online or at the show, or I'm having like the time of my life being a heel right now.
Awesome.
It's so great to me. It's like I just feel like I love wrestling again. That's
awesome.
That's what Shine did to me,
Awesome.
and then
Good to hear.
Shimmer kind of did the same thing where I ended up cutting Solo Darling's tail, and I'm really evil, and I love it.
So awesome. Poor thing doesn't have a tail.
She's a bee now.
She's a.
A bee.
She's like a
bee.
transformer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's been a while since we've
I
seen
haven't
her.
seen her live in a while. Actually, come to think of it, it's been
Probably,
some time.
I'd say a year.
Me and Solo, I think we wrestled everywhere. We wrestled at Queens of Combat. We wrestled in California for the alternative wrestling show. Hi, Bart. And Shimmer. Shimmer will actually have a little feud there. So, and yeah,
Yeah.
love
Awesome.
my sugar creature bee.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Always reinvent. I think is a good thing to go by. Now, this question, both of you. Recently, Pro Wrestling Illustrated released their PWI Top 500. And really, I think as we were kind of shaping the show and questions for it, this one really kind of came up in my mind. You know, obviously with Rogue and women's wrestling growing, I think everywhere. Do you think it's time maybe for them to incorporate women into the top 500 as a whole, or expand? Because I think they do a top 50. I think maybe expand it beyond 50.
I think they're actually changing the top 50. Top 50 was only in North America, but I think right now, for the next one, they will include, if I'm correct, people from Japan and all over the world.
Oh, that's good.
So it's going to be, I think, tougher to get a spot there. The only thing that I wouldn't say I don't agree, but I think they should change the criteria of choosing people. Your exposure and the big company you work for, yes, it should mean something, but it doesn't mean you're the best because you're in WWE. It just means you had an opportunity that someone great did not have, and not everybody will get there. I'm one of them for various reasons, and I just think if you want to really have a top 500 or a top 50 or whatever, is this person bringing, whether she's an independent or WWE superstar or Impact or Lucha Underground, is this person bringing, you know, asses in the seat? Is she creating, he or she, of course, you know, getting attention from the media, from the fans? Is she putting on great matches? Does she have a great personality? Does she have a promo? You know, is she good on promos? I think there's so many other criteria they should look. What's her impact in the world of professional wrestling? The quality of matches, you know, to me is how do you like the best way to find who's the best. I think if you put that person against anybody, any experience, can this person pull out a great match? and you'll have your answer on who's good, who's not.
Right, it should be the quality of the product as opposed to where the product is being broadcast from.
Exactly.
I do think that Dan Murphy has to have the worst job in the world having to put that together.
Definitely.
You know, I'm friends with Dan on Facebook, and he's a really nice guy. Met him in person several times. Fun, jokes around, goofs around with me. I was giving him a hard time, telling him I want to be 501, like I was telling you guys earlier. And I wanted my picture to be Joey Ryan flipping me with his penis. And, you know, he told me that's not PG and stuff like that. But he legit puts in so many hours and so much research.
I can't even imagine.
To be honest, and people are probably going to shit on me for this, I have no idea who the guy is who's number one. Never seen a match of his ever.
That's Okada, right?
I believe, yeah.
No clue.
Yeah, this year.
Literally no clue. I don't watch any Japanese wrestling.
Okay.
So I have literally no clue.
Hopefully Adam Lavelle's not listening to this one.
No, he knows. He knows. I don't watch it. Like if you say Japanese wrestling, Liger,
sure,
Muda, Hayabusa, and
an older generation.
Kobashi.
Who's the dude with the roaring elbow? Masa Tanaka. That guy was unstoppable. I mean, that guy. Right. I mean, when I seen him wrestle the first time, like I'll tell her, one of my favorite, craziest, weirdest matches ever that I love, and I'll watch it over and over again. When we did it on the network, I watched it probably 1,000 times. Masa Tanaka versus Mike Awesome at One Night Stand. That match was fucking sick.
Yeah, but Hammer
how either one of those guys walked out of that building?
Yeah,
you know, it was unbelievable. But the 500s, it's something cool. It brings attention to the magazine every year. It's a shitty job, in my opinion, to have to do it because, you know, especially if you're friends with some of the boys and stuff. Well, why wasn't I higher? Why wasn't I lower? You know.
Sure.
You know, I don't even really follow it anymore. So it's to me, you know, I don't fucking care.
Sure. That's
you
fair.
Know? I mean, I there's people who do buy it and stuff, and I'm totally for it. You know, it's a cool little thing. You know, but I'm almost 40. I'm gonna be in the fucking 500. So you know, I wouldn't even send in for.
Tate, I'll put you in my 500 if that. I'll put you in my 500.
I don't want to be in the 500. I want to be like I want to be the guy on the outside of the 500. That's what I've been my whole career.
You'll be my 501 then.
501, right. It's like right up the street.
We'll give you the honorable mention with an asterisk underneath of it. And you brought up Dan Murphy, and I brought the book along. It's the Sisterhoods of the Squared Circle. It's a really great read, especially if you're a women's wrestling fan. It's the history and rise of women's wrestling. Lufisto, you're actually have a whole section in here. Have you read your section in here? Yeah.
I've read my section. I didn't read anything else. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Not that I.
To her defense, she has a stack of books that are a little bit ahead of
I've been reading a lot of stuff about metal and Iron Maiden and stuff. That's my go-to.
Sure.
And right
Chris and
now,
Nancy.
yeah, I'm reading Chris and Nancy right now. Yes, Chris Benoit. We're gonna say it.
Yeah, Chris Benoit is not banned from 3 Count.
No,
we talked about it. We absolutely have.
Yeah, we've talked about him on.
I actually read the Roddy Piper book before, and it was so great because he talks about the sickness. The sickness being, why do we stay in wrestling, being hurt, not paid, driving hours, and it's such a great read. Try to find that book. I know there's 2 books of Roddy Piper. It's actually the red one. I'm not sure what the title is.
Is it In the Pit with Piper?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I actually think I have that.
It's a great book. If you're ever a wrestling fan or a wrestler yourself, I think you understand, especially back in those days that they had to be on the road. Like, for an independent wrestler, it's something because we have to drive, whatever. But for these guys back then, the schedule was even crazier.
Sure.
And why would you put yourself through that? And why would you let people rule your world, like working for a bigger company where you have to think the way they think, say what they want you to say, dress the way they want you to dress, where you basically lose your personality.
Yes, right.
Yes,
fall
sir.
in line. Yeah.
So
I mean, we talk about that, on many times. Things happen, pushes get derailed because of things that are said, or clothes that are worn, or hair that gets cut, or beards that get cut.
That has nothing to do with.
Like, what does that have to do with that? With what they are, what the fans think? Like, it's a micromanaged company.
Mm-hmm. So that was a great read. And where were you saying before?
I don't remember.
The Gold
fart.
Dust book is highly recommended. I'm a terrible speller and a terrible reader.
No offense to Goldberg, I would also
No,
picture him to be a
Gold
really
Dust,
Gold
Gold
Dust.
Dust.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
I legit I have like really bad ADD when it comes to reading. I'll like look at something and be like, it's all scatters and it's like F this. But I literally,
It's real.
That's what.
yeah, I've had a lot. So
CTE is real. Whatever people say.
yeah. But yeah, I read the. I literally laid on my bed and read the book through the whole entire. It's not a big book either,
Okay.
but I'm a slow reader, and I literally would not fall asleep until I read the whole book, and it kept my attention like so much, and knowing it was so real, and then the final closing minutes of the book, or a couple lines of the book tell you the setting of the book, where it was wrote and stuff, and you'll just like sit there and be like, "Are you effing serious?" Yeah, I tried to censor
you hooked
myself
me there.
Yeah,
I'll have to
good.
check
I
that
have
out.
it. If you want to borrow it, you can gladly borrow it.
I'll pick it up. I've got
a Goldberg book might be a picture book.
I just remember what your question was.
That's fine.
It was if I read my section.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, we got into reading. And honestly, I'm not a huge reader
It's
either. I
okay.
do enjoy reading wrestling related books. I read Pete Gass's book of all people. We just put a book out
That
this
would
year.
probably be pretty interesting.
And it really was, because it was interesting, because the guy had no training, ends up in the WWE. We had him on the show before. We talked about
back
he's
after
a really
around
nice guy.
WrestleMania last year.
before releasing the book, and how he kind of broke in and wasn't given a fair shake and was really shit on, and then kind of regulated to kind of a lower card talent there before this career, and it was a really easy read, like you said. So the Gold Dust book, I'm going to check that out. That's for sure. Let's shift gears here. And Lee says something about the Scorpions and Megadeth. He's excited for that.
I'm coming to the show. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Lee. It's next
So
Thursday.
it's a metalhead.
Yes, next Thursday night.
It's good we got you in this week then.
I spend so much money on
We've
tickets
seen
last year.
Avenged Sevenfold twice. We've seen Metallica.
Back to back.
Yeah, 2 days
We
in a row
went
of
to
Avenged
Hershey, then we
Sevenfold.
went to Baltimore.
We've seen Volbeat. We've seen Megadeth earlier this year. We've seen Amon Amarth earlier this year. Suicidal Tendencies.
Favorite
Metal
show so far
Church.
this year?
Oh, Iron
Anything.
Maiden.
Iron Maiden is. I would never seen Maiden before. Wasn't a huge fan until me and her met, and I absolutely love Iron Maiden.
Okay.
But if you want to consider I don't know how you want to genre it, but say 90s or newer.
Okay.
90s or newer metal. There is nothing that touches Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay.
Avenged
They're
Sevenfold
so
blew
good live.
Metallica off the stage, and the weird part about the show was it really pissed me off. And I mean, music doesn't really piss me off, but we were sitting in Baltimore in the Ravens Stadium, and Volbeat is absolutely fucking amazing live. I like Volbeat ever since they came out.
I've heard good things.
And they sound just like their CD, okay? But they were really quiet, and then Avenged Sevenfold comes on, and they're a little bit louder.
But M Shadow's mic was definitely down, and I got pissed, so I started tweeting about it, and suddenly the mic goes up. I was like, I don't know if I did anything, but whatever.
That's the Lufisto power tweet
and
there.
Oh my god!
And then Metallica comes on the stage, and they're 5 times louder than anything that happened in the night. I'm just like, man,
I know.
Don't fucking.
That's
dick
done
the
on
other
purpose.
guys. Yeah.
But the worst,
But what it is,
the worst was they had a DJ between. Here's my official complaint to the Metallica people.
Here it
or
is,
whoever-
folks.
Here it is. Here
Yeah.
it is. They had a DJ between the bands. It was
A DJ.
a DJ.
Yeah, Mixmaster Mike. Yeah.
He was mixing classic metal like he mixed the Trooper with Jay-Z.
It's horrible.
And
I
then
was at the
Spade
show in Philadelphia.
with-
Oh yeah, he was terrible there. I heard people
Because
were booing
he was
him.
there longer because Avenged didn't play at that show.
Oh my!
Oh, that's right.
God.
Philadelphia. Okay, I forget
So
which one you were
Volbeat
at.
came on, and then he did a long set, and it was like,
Yeah.
what am I
Pretty much.
what world am I living in right now? But there's a reason behind that. I work in my real job is in the live sound industry, and they do that because the headliner, the mixers mix the headliner louder because they don't want to be outshined.
Oh
No,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
That's
I mean,
obvious.
it's obviously
but-
the reason behind it, but
years
we
ago-
seen Avenged Sevenfold the night before Volbeat, and they were turned to the same level.
oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
In Hershey for the 105.7.
And Motionless in White was there, as loud as the other two. They didn't.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that Heaven Shenful had bigger was the stage.
Okay.
But besides that, it was loud as hell.
It was equal. It was an equal thing. You know, it was just like there was no cock measuring contest. If Avenged Sevenfold would have been turned as loud as Metallica, I will verify this, and I'm a huge Metallica fan. But Avenged Sevenfold would have blew them the fuck off the stage.
I've been to shows where I've actually been happier with the opening act than or like walked out of the main set because it's like the one of the openers was better.
That happens.
Sorry, I strayed away from wrestling.
No, that's fine. No,
Ghost
that's fine.
was really good.
Not the first time we've ever veered
I
off.
say
here.
we veer off many times.
My life is walking down the street, and I'm like, this way, and then I'm like, this way. It's like,
That's how we.
I
something
missed my
shiny.
destination today.
Yeah. I mean, we pretty much said no politics, but other than that, we
Oh,
can
that
pretty
would
much
be a
go
straight up
everywhere.
shoot if that happened.
I was
Yeah,
saying
so
no
we-
politics,
we
no
keep- we
religion.
keep away from
Otherwise,
politics and religion.
everything's pretty.
Imagine all the people.
There you go. See? Tate, let's dig a little bit deeper into kind of what you're doing now. You've broken out some White Lion attire. Obviously, you brought the head with us.
Yeah, it's a legit like prop made Hollywood style mask.
It's a full blown.
It's
Now you
full
wrestle with
leather.
this.
Yeah, it's a little hot.
I believe that.
It's a little hot. It's not really heavy. It looks like it'd be a lot heavier.
Yeah,
than
no,
what it
it's
is.
not very heavy. Jim, hold it up to the camera. Let them take a look at this.
Don't freak out.
Don't freak out. It's just, no, I'm just kidding. What caused you to kind of have this change of attitude, and the outward appearance that you have currently at Atomic?
The match with Sean Carr was a big influence in it. You know, I wanted to. Sean had we and him were trying to figure it out. It was probably between 5th, 6th, or 7th match he ever had was down with us.
Okay, wow.
And he was there, and we never worked each other. So I was like, you know what, this heel thing's just it's coming to a run. Everybody was doing the crazy thing with the mask. Like I wore the mask, and she can vouch for this too. I was wearing the mask. Then 50 people are wearing the mask. Mm-hmm. The same looking mask.
This was the King on the Underground.
Yes,
that
and
mask,
it got to the point where there was a guy down south who was calling himself the King of the Underground. And when I started in '97 or '98, when I debuted, that was my gimmick. I was the King of the Underground.
Okay.
I still have my original emails and my AOL Messenger stuff. It's always Twisted Tate, KOTU.
Right.
And yeah, it started to, not that it bugged me, because I see guys are running with it and doing really good with the mask and stuff, which is really cool. A lot of it goes back to G-Raver does a lot of death matches now.
Yep.
Me and him are really good friends, and I haven't got to see him much lately because he lives a little further away. But we were always kind of the horror guys, and we talk about horror movies when we talk. We don't talk about wrestling much. So,
Sure.
He had his version of the Generation Dead with the zombie type thing. I was like, you know what, I'm going to go with the Psycho Killer thing. And originally my music was going to be Psycho Killer.
Oh, okay.
But then we went to Beyond, and what's the dude's name? He's in NXT now. Joey Gargano's partner.
I've drawn a total blank. I know exactly what
Wow,
you're talking about.
brain fart.
I know.
He's
total brain
he's
fart.
from the Midwest, the northern Midwest.
Yeah. Go on, Jim.
Tommaso Ciampa?
Ciampa.
Yeah, Ciampa.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in the crowd the first time for Beyond.
We know wrestling.
Light bulbs going off.
All of a sudden, I hear the music start playing. I'm like, fuck, there it goes.
There it went.
And then the whole crowd is singing Psycho Killer. And I'm just like,
Yeah, we got people commenting Ciampa.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys.
So that totally killed
In his
that.
head, it went, "Pwah, pwah, pwah."
And then we went and seen Megadeth, and with the scary mask and Poisonous Shadows, the Megadeth song talks about, is this my face that you fear? Do I haunt you in your dreams and stuff? So it worked, but it started to discourage me a little bit. It was being done so much. So I was talking to her, and years ago when I first started, there was a guy who wrestled for New Japan. Hopefully it's not super disrespectful, but I can't remember his actual shoot name. I always called him the White Lion, because he was the White Lion in it was either New Japan or All Japan. I think he was back then. He was going back and forth. I've done some research, everything. He even had me gear made by New Japan's gear makers. I used to wear these white and purple shorts, spandex shorts, and he got them made over there. And I paid him for them, and he sent them to me. And he used to give me little pointers and stuff. So I couldn't find anything on him anymore. It's like he would be totally erased from wrestling history. And I was like, you know what, this guy like helped me out, like talking me through my mistakes and what I like was the shits at, and what I wasn't. So I was like, you know what, I want to do something that no one else is doing, that appeals to, that it can be done in serious wrestling, lucha, Japanese style. You can do any style with it and still be family friendly if you want to, do crazy comedy and everything. So why not fucking be a lion?
Sure.
So I had this thing made. It cost me a fortune.
Yeah, it's legit. Look,
there was a lot of trade-offs because wrestling doesn't pay the bills, but a lot of trade-offs and a lot of things done. But the guy hooked me up, and it's just coming together. When people like see it, and like we were talking earlier on, Twitter is like not the same as what it used to be. You can go on there and you'd have 1 million followers. Like I just started, at Real Twisted Tate. And there's not many people, but the people that are seeing it are like, holy fucking shit, this is crazy.
The real deal.
This is crazy. There's some entrance gear that I haven't broken out yet and stuff like that, but it's made me step up my game a lot because I was like kind of dwindling away.
Actually, you're talking about people freaking out. I'm going back to JPW on October 21st, and he's going too, and Steve Mack of
the Hit Squad.
The Hit Squad. Yeah. He's the one who got us there, and he's like, oh my God, I like that lion thing. So,
I haven't worked for Jersey All Pro since the original owner, Fat Frank, was alive. It was like 2001 or 2002 when they ran the arena in Philly.
Okay.
That was the last time I worked there, so I haven't worked there in forever. So, it's a huge opportunity to go Jersey All Pro. They run like top. They're not running as many shows as what they used to, obviously, but I seen like 2 or 3 shows ago they had like Mysterio. They're globally known on the indie level. They put on killer shows and stuff like that. So to be able to go back to Jersey All Pro at an old age, I've been like legit trying to step up my game a little bit. People will be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're bullshit. You're not training that much. I mean, she can vouch for it. I'm in the ring training 3 to 4 days a week. At 37. With a ton of.
To be honest, according to Jim, that's the wrong side of 30. And that's an old running joke we have here. But
with health problems and stuff, still going out there and committing to doing it and still committing to try it. Like like I said, I have a small bucket list of what I want to do yet before I'm done. And when that happens, I mean, done could be tomorrow.
With
health,
you never know. Sure.
With health, this week's been a crazy week health wise, so. Done could be tomorrow, if I get the call and it's like, yeah, you're fucked, okay, well then I gotta somehow accept it, but so the bucket list is small, we can talk about that later on. I'll gladly shoot the bucket list out to you guys, but
let's just get it out. Let's. Do you want to talk about it real quick?
Sure. England,
okay.
Jersey All Pro, Beyond, Bar Wrestling, anything in California,
okay,
and Wrestle Circus.
Okay, cool, awesome.
So
what if they just want to like stick you in a cage down at Wrestle Circus because you're a lion?
Ultimately, something at Lucha Underground would be my WWE goal.
Okay,
that would be my rank.
Okay.
I would be their mascot for Lucha Underground. I would legit be the guy who runs around through the crowd with a lion head on.
You could dance with the band.
Yeah. I would dance with the band. I could do anything, because the gimmick is so crazy. Like people are like, oh, he's a fucking lion. This is stupid. This isn't wrestling. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Just because I'm fucking wearing a lion head doesn't mean I'm not in there performing.
Why isn't it? Right. Yeah.
And it's taken me a lot to step up my game. I'm not a small guy. I've been wrestling.
You've trimmed down quite a lot, though. I mean,
I put on some weight again. But I'm still a lot smaller. I'm way under 300 pounds, which I'm happy about.
Sure.
But I've been training guys 4 nights a week for many years.
Stand next to us two. You look tiny as shit. So.
I've been well over 300 pounds before, and
yeah, me too.
It's always a challenge. The easiest way to lose weight is to be a vegan. She can vouch for it. I dropped 60 pounds in a month or 2.
Oh my God, that just sounds awful.
It's actually it
sounds
really
healthy. Just
eating sushi too.
Yeah,
it sounds really
he
rough.
lost weight with sushi.
Yeah, I went on a 30-day sushi diet, which cost me a fortune. This was like about 2 years ago.
It's not cheap.
And I dropped like 40 pounds in a month.
Wow.
And I ate sushi twice a day. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shit.
You try
Fuck
that.
off.
Yeah.
The vegan part, there was a restaurant in Lancaster in like the Central Market thing called The Seed.
Okay.
they made a vegan cheesesteak that tasted identical to a Philly cheesesteak. I would go up there and I would just like totally pig out on this thing because I was like, man, this is good.
Sounds tasty.
Yeah, it was good. I wish they'd come back. It was a community-owned thing, and they're gone.
Bummer.
Yeah,
I literally cried for like 3 days.
There's a guy I work with that like he drinks, like the old people drink like the Ensure shakes, like the protein shakes, because he's like, oh, I can't gain weight. I'm like, go fuck yourself. I was like, I eat a carrot and my ass grows. Like this.
I look at a cake and I gain 5 pounds.
Bro Keller has been trying to put on weight and bulk up for like ever. I'm going to throw you on the spot there, bro. But yeah, he said he can eat whatever he wants to and does not gain.
I'll give him some of mine. Like I'll give
my
it away.
metabolism done packed up and went home.
It left years ago. All right, Lufisto, one of our favorite videos of all time included Kevin Owens, and I think, Ryan, we were even watching this a couple weeks ago.
We just watched it, yeah, not too long ago, and somebody brought it up, I think, earlier tonight we were talking about it, yeah.
Talking about the match when you became the CZW Iron Man champion by pinning Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens. The match was an elimination match, Team Canada versus Blackout versus Hate Club. Like, what do you remember about that match? What are your memories of CZW at that time? Like, how did that all come to be? It was a crazy match for those that haven't seen it. I mean, it's a crazy freaking match. But what was that all?
I was wrestling for International Syndicate Wrestling (IWS) in Montreal, and I was in a team with Sexy Eddie, so we were known as the Missionaries of Violence, and so they were. Kind of exchanging talent. So we went out there, and at first they had me and Eddie fight Adam Flash and his manager Pandora. And for some reason, I think it's a show later or something. I was wrestling Larry Sweeney, and
God rest his soul.
Yeah, and sorry, I just thought about him saying, "I'll make you humble." Oh God, good stuff. And like my memories of it are like John Zending coming to me, or was it Maven? Could have been Maven. Oh, you're gonna get in that match too? And I was like, I have 2 matches. I was like, yeah, it was like kind of a clusterfuck. And Kevin comes to me and he's like, you're getting the belt. I'm like, what? It was like so out of nowhere, and I was happy because at first. Like, it was a whole, I wouldn't say it was a joke, but at first, like, Kevin couldn't come back to CZW because he had a prior engagement, and then he wanted to give to El Generico, and no, so Kevin goes like, hey, she's over, give it to her. And he said it more as a joke to see if Zendig would actually do it, but Zendig's just like, that's a fucking great fucking idea. So, it was a clusterfuck because... It was all over the place. If it was called Trapped, it's not a cage match. It's like a legit huge cage that goes all around. It's like bigger than the ring, and the crowd.
Yeah, there was what 20 feet or something that looked like around the ring.
And the 8 Club, and Blackout, and of course we were the Canadians. Like, basically, everybody who drove down from Canada in the same car, we're in the same team. So yeah, they made that stipulation that anybody in that match can pin. If Kevin Steen gets pinned, he loses the Iron Man Championship. So. That's what happened. I ended up like we were fighting at the beginning of the show. He was laughing at me after I pinned Sweeney. He was laughing at me, and there was already like some tension between him and me. And then in the match, we just
I think actually Kevin cost you the match with Sweeney. Kevin came out and Sweeney rolled you up and
yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
I just watched some of the stuff recently.
See, I don't even remember. All I know is that I ended up in a cage and
ended up with a championship.
Exactly. And then from then, I will say that John Zending from there really gave me an opportunity that no one else would. He believed in me like I was always the girl that was, sticking around the locker room. I wanted to be a wrestler. There's no way I would be a referee. There's no way I would be a manager. I wanted to be a wrestler. So I ended up wrestling guys most of my career when I started because there was no other girls or they were untrained and unsafe.
Right.
So when I got to CZW, I mean, he put that belt on me, and I thought it would be a one-shot, thing. But no, it lasted a few months until actually I was hurt and could not defend it.
Okay.
So technically, I've never lost the Iron Man Championship. Yeah.
I had to forfeit it.
I had to forfeit it. I had a back injury, so I was out for a few months, and I had to forfeit it. But yeah, I mean, my John Zandig CCW days were very bloody, long ride.
Sure.
But I can't.
White Castle.
Oh, no, that's a shit story. I will never eat White Castle again because you eat it and you shit it right after, and then you got 5 Canadians going back and forth through the God bless Generico. He was like, I don't eat that shit. I'm telling you. It's not. I'm telling you. Oh, man. And then we were going to the bathroom, and he was shaking his hand. Like,
I don't think it's a Canadian thing. I think anybody can eat White Castle and shit it out.
Yeah, but it's like
my wife won't eat
okay,
it. Okay,
I blame beef Wellington. It was like, oh my god, it melts in your mouth. You gotta taste it. I was like,
Melts in your mouth and comes out your ass.
Oh my god.
Goes right on out the other side too.
I don't think that's going to be a slogan
In
that
20
sticks with
minutes.
any restaurant.
I have refused to eat White Castle.
Every time we
since
see
that
one when we're
day.
traveling somewhere, I'm like, hey, there's White Castle. And she's like, yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And if you guys wanted to, I think it's an RF shoot video from the
Actually,
the
Kevin part is on YouTube, so you can he tells the story pretty
Okay.
good.
Oh,
how
is it
it,
all
oh yeah,
on
the
YouTube?
whole
Okay,
the whole
okay.
part about the CZW
Okay, we can check
championship
that
and
out then too.
Definitely.
Maybe we'll throw it up on our page.
I feel like it was
Facebook.com.
even in the DVD that just came out
Maybe
with
it
the
was, but-
WWE.
Yes. Oh.
I think he
I know
told
that
the
they-
story.
I
on this
really
stuff.
doubt WWE mentions my name in there.
I'm pretty
Man,
sure
I'd
it was.
have to take a
we
look.
were. I think we were just watching it. We picked it up a couple weeks back, and
Hell, that's frozen over.
Royalties.
well, I'll have to go back and watch it again. But I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
he had the story in there. as well.
Okay, that might have been where it was from. I know. I just
God
caught
damn it,
recently.
Kevin! I'll have to buy a WWE DVD.
There it is. Well, we'll let you know first because I'm sure
Please.
one of us.
Yeah,
has.
we'll
let you
watch
know
it
first.
again. Let you know. So then.
No, kind of piggybacking, kind of off of the craziness of CZW, things like that. You guys have traveled, serious travels as part of the business. What was the kind of the craziest backstage or maybe shindy wrestling thing that you've ever been part of?
Do I tell the Dominican story?
Go ahead, because I'm trying to find my story and I don't know what to tell.
I'll tell a quick story, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's kind of funny, and it was a huge crowd. I kind of disappeared from wrestling for a little bit, and like right as I stopped running ACW shows for a little while. I think it was like 03, 04, somewhere in there. I disappeared for a little bit, and just needed like a breath of fresh air. So when I was ready to come back, I was contacted by a company in the Dominican Republic.
Oh.
And it was interesting, and I was just like, cool, I was like, I'll just make a vacation out of it, and went with the next and her family down and stuff, and there was a wrestling show with a ring made of wood with wooden posts, and yeah, it was in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and it looked like a backyard wrestling show, but with like 600 to 1,000 people.
Holy shit!
Jeez.
So, like Sabio Vega was on the show, and there was like some great talent there, but the ring was legit fully made of wood.
Holy hell!
Yeah, I don't think I've ever told this story like live. A couple of people I've told it because it was embarrassing to
That
me at the
reminds
time.
me of my first day.
So I never would say I was internationally traveled because it was so embarrassing.
Right. So
You
like
know.
in like a jungle, like in the woods.
Yeah, and people were sitting there with machine guns.
What the fuck?
Good God.
Yeah,
Jesus, well, I guess the
like
Dominican
down there,
Republic,
like down
holy
there,
shit.
like if you go into the countryside, like the shacks of the homes are like falling over, and they like guard their homes with their lives. They
hell.
sit there with AKs on their porch.
They
And
just,
there are
let's
no
go to the wrestling
there
match.
are no trespassing signs or like a sheet of plywood with like a chalk outline body, and then like a bullet in the heart, and like the heart's like exploding. They painted on there like
Right.
that. It was creepy.
Yeah, there's
The
no
food-
language barrier
the
there.
food sucked too. It was terrible. The resort food was amazing, but I was sick for about 2 weeks when I got home.
Yeah, I can
Wow.
believe that.
Got the poopies?
Yeah.
That was a crazy one. I did a couple other ones that were just really, that you just give somebody a chance who's running their first show, and like my first show was fucking weird. You can ask if Rob's in the thing, he'll tell you the first show I did was it was out in the middle of nowhere, but
Everybody needs a
he
break,
popped up.
sure.
But I've done some real weird ones that were just like terrible, and I did some shows in front of like 3 people, 4 people that just showed up, and still went out there and entertained those people,
Sure.
but there's always weird shit, as it goes on. It just happens. There's always good nights. There's always bad nights at wrestling shows. There's, I've taken over the team more than half my career. I never got into it to be rich. So, I just have fun with it. But there's been some weird things. I mean, I've over the last couple of years, I've only worked several places, so I know when I go to those several places, like it's going to be a fun time.
You're gonna be
Which is what I
safe,
look
I'm sure.
Which is what I
Sure.
look for.
No
So-
AK-47s up here, right?
No, she's on the show.
Only
this
Allison
weekend,
K.
Allison K. Absolutely, there it is.
You got one about a Shindy story?
Oh, there's so many things.
When I first booked her, she you get like a test from her. Like she asks a million questions. She researches companies. She does everything. So if you're
Smart.
if you're a shitty company and you're trying to book Lufisto, she will find out that you're a shitty company because she does her homework. So and wrestling 20 years, we both kind of like check up on things.
Sure.
Hey, did you work there before? Hey, there's a mutual friend. It's talked
I'm
about.
pretty easy to deal with, but if I hear that you haven't paid people, you cancel a lot of shows, and you'll see me asking a lot of questions, people think I'm a dick. I'm not going to drive 6 hours to a show. That's not going to happen, or
Sure,
that I'm
absolutely.
not going to have my stuff covered, or you announce a show, you cancel it at the last minute, and I lose another booking because someone else asked me.
Right,
So yeah,
right.
I could be a shitty person if I hear anything. Yeah, I'm picky.
Well, and I mean that's your livelihood there. I mean,
Sure.
if somebody's doing that and it's taking your livelihood away from you.
I mean, would you go get your car fixed somewhere where you're not sure how it's going to return?
Nope.
So yeah, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Right, you gotta take care of yourself.
All right. We kind of touched on a little bit earlier, off and on, Tate. Your opinion on Joey Ryan. He was a part of ACW Sleazy Christmas show last year. Gets a lot of attention all the time, especially lately with the
Pick up the DVD. Absolutely great show.
with the
Facebook doesn't like the word sleazy.
No, they would
Really?
not let us advertise the poster
Because of the
due
word
to
sleazy.
Sleazy.
Oh, fuck you, Facebook.
Wow.
Here,
Holy.
hold this up there. Show the Facebook video sleazy.
I mean, it's
Fuck that.
backwards, but
No, it will be backwards to you guys, but
Sleazy.
there, it's on Facebook now.
yeah. What's your opinion on how was he to work in the ring? And I mean, you've talked to him about a little bit throughout the night.
He is soft-spoken, kind, respectful man, first and foremost. A true 100% professional. He was up to doing whatever we wanted to do. It was like it's kind of like one of those blessing things. You say you want to do something, oh, cool, yeah, let's do it, And very easy to work in the ring. I don't know. He's a genius. Like, people are just like, oh, well, yeah, he's this guy who flips people with his cock, or his dick, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot more to it. The guy can wrestle. The guy that takes risks. He
Right.
suicide dived out onto us like during the middle of the match. And I'm just like, did that just happen? I mean, and he's a smart guy. He's making a fortune. And he's in this business to make money to provide a living for himself and his wife. So he's doing what he needs to do that, and he's doing a damn good job at it. I mean, people who hate him, he was the founder of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Sure.
He owns Bar Wrestling, which is like the hottest freaking upstart thing in California right now. I don't know if you guys seen the post. Cody Rhodes said, if you attend the show, I'll give you a free shirt.
Yep.
And there was like a table like this.
Yep.
Stacked.
Yep.
Everybody got their free shirt.
That's awesome.
His matches with Cody were great. Like Cody, everybody says Cody Rhodes is probably the best wrestler in the world right now, or the most creative.
He's also one of the most generous superstar. When we were at the Wrestle Circus, he sold his boots to help.
This is Cody you're talking about.
Yeah, Cody,
yeah.
A benefit for the pets.
If you're on, I also heard from several other promoters and stuff. If something that Cody wanted to do that was on his list and you provide it for him, Cody won't accept the payday. He'll fly himself to the show, wrestle for free, sell his gimmicks, and go home.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I think Cody's a great guy. Him and Joey did Joey joked around with him. I think if I remember correctly, Joey's like, Joey does the gummy bear spot, where they bump into gummy bears and stuff. And Cody's like, well, that's pretty cool. What if we had thumbtacks in there? And Joey's like, fuck, he wants to do thumbtacks. So he said the two of them quick jumped in a car and were driving all over Hell in Creation to find thumbtacks. And I know they were like, pin cushions, He's really easy to work with, and he's booked nonstop.
Yeah.
I guess we can tell everybody, Joey Ryan will be returning in November.
So we got some breaking news right now.
Yes.
We need a breaking news sounder as well.
We do.
I gotta write that. I gotta give that a note.
Download breaking news sounder.
Yeah. Joey Ryan will return in November, but it's taking me from December to November to be able to even open and find a date for him that he would be able to come in. We're both super looking forward to it. The people last time didn't really know who he was, but the positive review. I mean, when I got flipped by the penis, the place went absolutely insane. Your guys' commentary was.
I never thought I would hear. What was it? Grab his penis.
Yeah, touch his penis.
Touch
got
his penis.
chanted. And it was so loud on the video. If you watch the video, it's just like you hear everybody, screaming at it.
Men, children, and women.
There's a funny story about this. I don't remember who. Oh. The match that actually happened wasn't actually the original planned match. It was supposed to be myself and Ox Hogg against Joey Ryan and Bro Keller, but Ox Hogg was really sick and couldn't make the show.
Okay.
So Dahmer comes up to me as he's getting to the building, and he's like, he's like, what are we doing tonight, man? And I was like, there's a change of plans. He goes, let me guess. He's like, I just talked to. Don't kill me, John. I don't know if you said your mom or your stepmom or your dad or stepdad or I don't know. But he's like, I just talked to so-and-so, and they're like, oh, man, I'm glad you're not wrestling that guy who flips people with his dick tonight or something along these lines. And I was like, you know what, John? You are wrestling the guy who flips people. And he's like, shit. I'll never forget. He just smiled, because John's up to anything. He's a true John Dahmer's a true professional. He is a
legend
gift.
in the business.
If you get to wrestle John Dahmer, you're getting a gift. Because I went through, some people know about it, some people don't. I went through some serious head trauma issues where I was pretty much done for 3 years, and me and John wrestled like I was living on a sofa for pretty much every day.
Wow.
And me and John had 45-minute matches during my head trauma, and he carried me and helped me through some of these matches.
Sure.
And because we continued our feud through because I needed to do something to try to make some kind of income back then.
Sure.
And it was it was crazy.
And in the cardio too, he trims down every episode, every show. He trims down a pound.
Yeah, he does a little bit. You know. Yeah, between
John Dahmer had a salad today.
He must have.
He had his league at the time of Misfits, and me and Serini were Pretty in Pink. And we were doing singles as Pretty in Pink, and those two guys really helped carry through, through those matches and helped me get through. I if you watch them, if you get to see them, someone will be up there. I spent 35 minutes rolling around a lot, getting the shit stomped out of me, but we got through. I mean, they were just long heat matches, and they're good. I watched them back, and I'm like, okay, I'm half dead, and I don't remember this. I was in the hospital, wow. I think I had 9 or 10 brain MRIs that year, probably 14 or 15 CAT scans. I was legit out of it. I was seeing blue lines through my eyes 90% of the time. I didn't even have proper vision.
Wow.
And it's crazy. It's a long story. That's a shoot interview or a sit down tell all long book thing. But I legit wrestled every weekend. I mean, Serini used to drive me. I couldn't drive. I was I was so messed up I couldn't drive. I lost 100 pounds in not even 60 days.
Oh, shit.
There it is, Jim. Brain trauma.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll trim right down.
Yeah, but
Holy hell.
yeah, it was a tough time, but I kind of kept it to myself. Like some of the guys who were coming over and students at the time, that they'll all sit there and tell you it was crazy. Yeah, because some of them were like, "All right, coach, let's get out here and do something today," and I'm just like, "Yeah."
Bobby Kruger checks in. He says he remembers.
Yeah, He was like getting in right at like kind of the end of it, but. Or I shouldn't say the end of it because I still struggle with a lot of it, but I've learned to deal with a lot of it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Sure. Again, check it out. It's atomicprowrestling.com. You can pick up it's Sleazy Christmas. You Facebook.
Sleazy. The
match with Joey Ryan just got put onto our Pivot Share network today or yesterday.
So you can find it on there, too. If you don't want to buy the DVD, just find it there. Subscribe to the Pivot Share. That's definitely worth it. I brought props this week. I'm so proud of myself. I don't ever do this.
Look at you.
This next one's kind of geared toward you, Lufisto, and again, it's from your Diva Diaries, which is one of the greatest watches I've ever seen. It's from High Spots. I think you have a few copies of this usually at the show.
Yeah, I do. I always have a few copies.
Definitely worth checking out. That got some really, really good matches on here, but a really great shoot interview as well. You were talking, and you used the term failure in this, and something that it caught me way off guard when I was kind of doing my research this week, and in a way too strong of a word in my opinion. But you said by not reaching kind of your personal goals at that time of maybe wrestling in the WWE, you kind of felt like you were a failure. Since launching Rogue and things of that nature, has your goals changed? Have you feel like would you still throw the word failure around by not reaching that, or have you realized like maybe that wasn't supposed to be my goal, and I'm better suited somewhere like a Shine where I can do a lot of good for indie wrestling, and still really raise the awareness of women's wrestling, just not on like the main WWE stage?
Before you answer that, what does your wrestling mom say to this?
My wrestling mom is Saraya Knight. I don't remember exactly the words.
She says that you were put into this business to train and groom younger talent. That you were one of the most talented performers to ever wrestle or step into a wrestling ring as a female or male, and that just because you're not on that stage doesn't mean that you didn't make it, because you made it. Everybody knows you, the community knows you, and now like it's to move to, she thinks that she told me like. With we were all riding in a car together at Shimmer, and she's just like when she starts training people, and she does she got every once in a while pops out as we're training at our place, but like when she comes into it, people are going to come from everywhere.
Absolutely.
And there has been girls who have contacted us before. Hey, are you guys doing this? Are you guys doing that? I've tossed around the idea of throwing some mini camps together. And stuff, but stuff like that where, you pay, you stay with us, you eat with us. It's kind of everything type of deal, but that's what she says. She says this woman could be the greatest wrestling trainer, in the area.
Totally agree.
States.
Absolutely. Period. Just I think you could stop the sentence there. Just greatest wrestler trainer, and just leave it at that.
And that's a big thing coming from Saraya Knight, who's got a 30-year career, who runs England. Like she's a champ. Like I love the woman to death. Like I didn't know her until two Simmer trips ago, and like we talk on Facebook a lot and everything. She's like blunt, swears like in your face. She's like, I don't like your fucking T-shirt. She's also made me eat 2 10-ounce steaks within 2 hours of each other, and she sat there and did the same thing with me. Yeah.
Yikes.
Wow. But, yeah, go back to you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
To me, to be the best, you have to be in the best place.
Okay.
So when I say failure, it's just that if you look at the amount of time, sweat, blood, sacrifice, failed relationship, sleep in my car, how many times I got stretched just to prove if I was tougher enough, punch in the face, broken nose, and I could go on and on and on. It's just that I just wish there would have been a payday at the end. Like, if
sure.
I've always said WWE, but like I said a little bit earlier, I've seen the backstage recently, and there's so many things that bothers me. I think when you go work somewhere where you lose your identity to become what they want you to be, you kind of lose me there, and I'm not sure it's something I would like to do.
Sure.
I believe in being yourself, stand up for what you believe for. You can be a company woman, but not lose your identity.
Okay.
You can represent a brand without being a yes sir, yes ma'am, and
So you're talking even more than just changing a gimmick, but changing.
Could you imagine that?
oh, I'm not talking about you're going to do this in the ring, we're going to change your gimmick or whatever.
You're talking deeper than that.
Deeper than
Sure,
that,
okay.
yeah, because I consider myself a company woman where, oh, you're going to do this tonight and you're going to wrestle this person and this is the finish. I'll use, yes, okay, no problem.
Okay.
I feel like I'm an actor / stunt woman and I'll deliver what my booker wants for me.
Sure.
I don't argue unless I feel it's unsafe, then I'll try to find an alternative to get the same result, but in a different way where I feel it's going to, in a safer way, and it's going to come out better, or it's going to be clearer to the fans, or, you know, there's always a reason for me to, if I'm going to change something, first of all, I'm not going to change it without the approval of the booker / promoter.
Absolutely.
Sure.
And, but yeah, it's, so WWE and I got so I don't want to say, I don't know what the word would be, honestly. When I got there backstage, I was so disappointed by what I saw, by what I heard, that it was like it changed the perspective to me. It's like, you know what? I'm on the independent circuit. I am free. I can choose who I wrestle, where I wrestle. If someone treats me like shit, I can choose not to go back to work there.
Absolutely, sure.
Right.
Which you can't do when you have a contract. But
Let me tell you, when she came home from that weekend, it wasn't the same person for like a week or two. It
Sure,
it
I
had to
believe that.
go through the process, and then like I could see like daily, like we would talk about it a little bit, and you know, in our personal time, and you know, you could see like gears were changing and a new path like was starting to. She knew what she could be her next level, like you know, type thing. It was rough to watch because I seen how discouraged, you know, and I just you know, hey, you know.
Here's the thing with WWE. I've heard that I was too old. I've heard that my hardcore past was in the way. I heard that my intergender past was in the way. But I've got other people who did the exact same thing who get signed. But for me, there's always a reason.
Sure.
And, they also say, her health's not too good. What I had was an art defect that was fixed, and I was born with it. It's called atrium septal defect, which is a hole. And now that it's fixed, I'm actually less of a problem than some people. The only way to see if you have that is to get a camera down your throat and go see your heart. Wow. And what it does, it creates shocks and stuff, and it gives you the impression that you have a stroke. But there's no it's not an actual stroke because you don't get any scars on your brain. So I went through all kinds of CAT scan. I gave I shit you not 21 vial of blood for them to test me. Wow. And with the camera they finally found was wrong with me, and it's a birth defect. So when I hear like stuff like, oh, Lufisto's health not good, that's why she's not signed, it's a bunch of fucking bullshit. And it drives me insane because my heart has been repaired in 2011. I've been wrestling more than ever. I've been, I think right now I'm having the best matches of my life. And it's like, if you use that not to sign me, it's just something that you're using because you have something against me and you don't. The other reason is there's that one person that doesn't want me there. So you got all these different reasons why I'm not there, and at first I was like, it was bothering me, but it's like, what do you want me to do?
Not to interrupt you for a second, but when you say you're having the best matches ever, I had a moment in wrestling that I have never personally experienced as being a fan. Like I travel with her pretty much everywhere she goes. That's in driving distance, and she wrestled Kimberly at Beyond, and when the match was over, it was in Fete Music.
Fete Music, yeah.
The reaction from the crowd I have never seen by any audience ever before. I had chills. I literally thought I was going to pass out. Due to chills. I'm seeing these people's appreciation for probably what could have been definitely top 5 best women's matches ever to happen. I mean, it was the most solid match I've ever witnessed with my own 2 eyes. And I mean, those two, they literally killed it. I think it's on YouTube now.
It is on YouTube.
It had like 1 million views, I think, the last time I looked, or over 1 million views. Wow. It's not the original video anymore, but when you watch the match, and to be there watching it in person, and just I like scan the crowd when I'm like at the shows, and being able to see how every person and it was a packed house, appreciated and 100% just wholeheartedly loved that women's match, because it was a women's show. And it was a special moment for me as a wrestler and a fan to actually sit there and watch it.
That's awesome.
It was like, it was been like a Hall of Fame match, like a Hall of Fame ceremony speech, when everybody stands up and clapping and wiping the tears from their eyes and they had the chills. That's the vibe that match gave.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even go back to the Sweet 17 match with Jazz. I mean, that, if you haven't seen it, shame on you. Go check it out, RogueWoundWarriors.com. And at least find that match and buy that match, because that match, like I said, it would stack up with any women's match I've seen at least all year. I mean, at bare minimum. So I totally agree with you. I get to sit and call your matches every single month, and you're not lying when you say that you're having, I think, the best matches of your career today. So, and I mean, again, this isn't a fluke. So, whatever, WWE, your loss, I guess. Guys, this is
Lucha
kind of
Underground. Hi.
There it is. Hello.
No, seriously. If there's a place I would like to wrestle, is Lucha Underground, because I feel the women's revolution there is not a marketing thing. It's not to promote a movie. It's not to promote whatever they're trying to do. And God bless them for. There's good people right now having shots at WWE that deserves it, and that these people are happy and feel accomplished makes me feel wonderful, because there's awesome people. Mercedes Martinez being one of them. I think she should be. I think she should be seen on TV. She's great. Mia Yim,
Mary Dobson.
Mary Dobson's
a great person.
She is. Yeah, wonderful. Had some of my best matches with him.
I've known Kim since she was a fan sitting in the crowd.
So Kimberly,
it's great for these women, but since I'm old and my hardcore past is such a problem, and intergender and all that stuff, like, to me, the revolution that they talk about, Lucha Underground, that's where it's happening. Because when you watch Lucha Underground, the girls it's not a women's division. They are equal to men. They fight the men.
Right.
They have promos like the men. They have segments like the men. They have long matches. They are on the posters. The Lucha Underground, I think, is the place to be when it comes to, if you really want to do something for women's wrestling. I'm not saying the other ones are not. Like the Knockouts right now, just speaking about Sienna.
They have a hell of a lineup.
Like Hallie, Rosemary. They're doing right now. They're awesome. It's like, so I don't want to downgrade anything that the other do, but if we're talking about me, I think Lucha Underground, because it feels like I should be ashamed of what I did in the past, that I fought for women's wrestling. Right. Everything, like, right now, everything's cool. But when what I did is wrong, like, oh, you bled, you fought with the men stuff. Well, in Lucha Underground, it is cool. It is. So for me, that would be
the female talent they do have out there is great.
Oh,
when they have female matches, they're great.
Mariposa, Ivelisse, Taya Valkyrie, like. She said today that she would like to wrestle me, so I was like, yes! I tagged with her, but I would love to wrestle her. She's fantastic.
And I think she just debuted tonight.
Yes, she did.
In Global Force. So, or Impact Wrestling. It depends what they want to be called this week.
GFW Impact.
GFW.
Yeah.
old
Yeah, well,
TNA.
now I guess Impact is the show. GFW is the company.
Is the company, okay.
At least for
Doesn't matter. Taya Valkyrie's on TV now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is badass.
That is badass.
I know. I think we shared that a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week or so ago on Twitter that she posted about it. So that's absolutely awesome. And I said in the beginning we're not going to do these kind of basic interview podcast questions. We have to kind of do a few here. What's the favorite match you've ever had so far?
Favorite match I've had so far. There's a bunch. There's a bunch of names that I've worked that I had great matches with. But if we're gonna talk about recent that really made me happy, and it wasn't anything super crazy match wise, but it was good and solid match wise. The match with Sean Carr was really good. The match this past weekend with Stockade, or 2 weekends ago, was fun and painful, very painful.
I believe that, yeah.
The matches I had with Bro really stand out to me, not just because he's like my student, but we did a match at CCW. It was like maybe his third match, and I really felt like shit that day. And I went out there and I literally was thinking, I think you were at that one. It was in Lebanon, and I was like, man. I thought to myself, like, I felt so bad, and I knew how excited he was. I was just like, I'm going ready to go through the curtain. I was like, I hope I don't die tonight. Like, legit. Like, I legit, like, felt that bad. I was like, I hope I don't die in Rob's ring, because I love Rob. But me and Rob met at, he was, like, finished wrestling school, the same one I was going to, and stuff. So I've known Rob forever. And the last thing I want to do is fall over in Rob's ring.
Right.
So I love the guy, but, he's a great guy. I'm probably one of the only people who have fully never had a falling out with him, and we love each other like
awesome.
family.
Good
yeah,
deal, too,
yeah. But yeah, that's the matches with Bro were meaningful to me because I got to see he learned so quick and so fast and came so so far in so little time.
Do you kind of get that like proud papa feeling? Is that kind of part? Okay.
Very. I do have a few people that I'm working with now. There's a guy named Steve who's a real big jacked up guy.
Trixie Tash.
Trixie Tash is one of mine. I have another female named Riley and Sarah. They're a great little group. So it's it's a lot of fun. They listen well. They get a lot of my time. So
JoJo checks in. She says the Bro Killer match was really good, and then the you and Sean Carr match was one of her favorites too. Lufisto, obviously, again, both of you guys have a large career to look back on. Do you have a favorite match you can look back and you'll be like, God damn, this is that one?
Definitely the one with Kimberly's talking about versus Athena Ember Moon at WSU.
Okay.
I really like wrestling Mickie James. It was really fun to work with her, and it was a great experience. Everything with Jazz. Jazz to me is, how everybody talks, oh, Lita, oh, Trish Stratus. Oh, I didn't give a damn about them. And for me, it was the badasses. I love Jazz and I love Jackie. They were badasses.
Man, and I'm glad you said that because I went back right after that show or right before that show. I don't remember what it was, but I just looked up a lot of Jazz matches and how much impact she really had on the WWE at that time. People don't really remember that. She should be in the Hall of Fame.
She should have been there for a while. Yeah.
Absolutely should.
She's a very nice, humble, kind person too. There's somebody you forgot, and I know we weren't going to bring it up, and you don't have to say a word about it, but if there was a number 2 match since I've been traveling with you that I would say really stands out as being good, and I know it's controversial, but you and Sexy Star at Shimmer tore the fucking house down. Like it was amazing.
Yeah, I love that match.
It was amazing. It was everything you could imagine seeing was in that one match. It was just good. So
I have a rough style. She does too. We were just laying him in, and it felt so good because I felt she wanted it as much as I wanted it, and like my Spanish is not that good, but I managed. Like I know the wrestling words,
right?
So
right, the important ones at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I know I'm forgetting people. Anything
you
with
some really good with
Mercedes
Mary
Martinez,
Dobson, too.
Mary Dobson. My God.
Gail Kim.
Yeah, Gail. I'm forgetting. Like I love Wesna from Germany. We had some great fights.
You and Jessica Havoc?
Jessica Havoc, cheerleader Melissa. I'm like,
Jessica Havoc's amazing.
Yeah, that was a really good show when you guys brought her in. That was a lot of fun.
She's
absolutely
an awesome
amazing.
person.
Really is.
She reminds me of, like, myself, so she's like my sister. So it's like you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth at what time.
She's great.
That's always safe.
Oh, you know what? There was one I forgot. I wrestled a guy in Canada not that long ago named Surfer Mitch Thompson.
Okay.
The ring was weird for me. Great company, everything. The ring was strange. It had real ropes, which are not common in the States anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And the ring moved, like, up and down, like, all around. It was really weird compared to like the ring that we have or that anybody else has locally. It was a post inside of a post, so it kind of, like, compressed. The post moved, too. So it was very hard to run. So if anybody who's seen it, like, oh my God, that match looked like it was in slow motion. It wasn't in slow motion. It was just, I couldn't run.
It's like a funhouse floor.
It was like a funhouse run, through, and we were just protecting each other. But it was a lot of fun, and the kid's really good.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
He needs to get down here to the States. Like, I really feel like him and Bro would have a good match. Him and Legacy Wrestling, he's like that kind of style that they like to bring in. Yeah, Rob Lloyd and him would be great.
Okay.
He's really good.
Is that match anywhere? Can we find that match anywhere? Do you know?
It's online.
Yeah, it is online.
Okay.
Yeah. I shared it on my Twisted Tate page.
Okay.
It's up on there.
Send it our way. We'll make sure we throw it up.
It's the first appearance of the Lion.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So a little bit of history there, too.
So the Lion actually debuted for the first time in Canada.
Up in Canada land.
Yeah. First ever time working
Siegfried
there.
and Roy live up there, I think. That was a tiger. Never mind. I fucked that up. I fucked that one up.
What
bad.
is wrong?
Talking about?
This is wrong.
I fucked that one up. My bad.
Big bucks, no whammy. Stop.
It's clearly past Ryan's bedtime at this point.
It's getting there, I guess.
You
I don't
threw
know.
your questions on the floor.
I did.
I think we
He's
were
winging it.
through
Fuck
them.
I'm fighting through. I think I'm through my questions. My set at least.
I think we're good. Well, I guess the last question, if you had the option to book yourself in any match against anybody, both of you, this question, what would be the one match that you would book yourself in?
You want to start?
I don't know. I like wrestling like new people that I've never wrestled before.
Big Jim's looking to debut.
To me, it's
here
always
soon.
a challenge. So yeah, I like wrestle like.
Okay.
It doesn't matter the experience. To me, it's a challenge to wrestle somebody new.
Okay.
So.
Somebody
I know
new.
it's a boring. It's a boring answer, right?
It's honestly a question that we love asking everybody because the variety of answers we've gotten over.
I would book myself at Lucha Underground. Does
There you
that
go.
work?
Yeah,
Perfect.
absolutely.
Oh, I would like to work Pentagon.
Pentagon.
Oh, he's
Okay.
amazing.
Wow.
I love Pentagon.
Okay.
He's the
Awesome.
nicest guy ever, too. Every time I see him, like, we get into like this in-depth conversation. He can't hardly speak English, and I can't speak no Spanish at all. But we still sit there and try to talk for like 20 minutes.
You know
we
what?
have hand gestures.
I'd love to
all
be a
kinds
fly
of
Oh,
on the
shit.
wall for that, just to watch.
Nicest guy ever.
One name came to mind. For some reason, I would love to wrestle him because I think he would show me so much because he's such a versatile athlete and he's so good at what he does. And it's Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wasn't that supposed to happen?
There were talks about it.
Wow.
Wow.
David
That would be
Starr.
fun
I
to
would
watch.
love to wrestle David
He's
Starr.
fun.
Oh,
They're
he's
both
incredible.
fun.
My
Well-
God, all the names are coming now.
There
David
they
Starr,
go.
JT Dunn.
Here comes
Amazing
the
how
flood.
it-
Here it comes.
amazing how that
There
rolls.
they go, yeah.
The floodgate.
I
Book it.
want to. Joey Ryan 1-on-1 is happening. I really, really want to wrestle Matt Riddle.
Okay.
Just because I have an MMA background a little bit, and
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's definitely one. JT Dunn is definitely another one.
I'd like to see you against the Hit Squad.
We've talked about that.
Now, Dunn's wrestled in Atomic before, right?
Yeah, he wrestled Eddie Smooth, Sean Carr, and Aaron
That's
Arba
right. He
for
was
the
in that
best
four-way
round.
match.
Yes.
That's right. Okay.
That was the first show
That
we
was
were
that
ever
we were
at.
at Atomic. That's right.
There's a couple. Vampiro.
Oh wow. Okay.
Huge on the list. I've always
Okay.
been a huge fan of Vampiro, and I wrestled Shane Douglas several times 1-on-1. I would wrestle Shane anytime.
Awesome.
Tommy Dreamer's another one.
Cool.
Big influence. You know, love Tommy Dreamer. There's a whole bunch that's just coming to my mind.
Awesome.
My thing is like places where I want to wrestle more.
Okay.
You know, anybody who's come up through ACW, I'd wrestle at any time. Like there's like a list of guys like Hayne was really new to wrestling when he came through. I've got to watch him grow. I mean, I think he's my age, but I got to like watch him like grow through the business and become what he's doing today. CM Serini.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ton of them. That came through. Scotty Jeffries. Me and Scotty Jeffries always throw down a classic every time we have one.
Sure,
we literally beat the living shit out of each other. Like I'm usually pretty messed up for days. I've sent him to the hospital afterwards already.
They're fun to sit back and watch.
We'll sit there and chop each other a million times until our heart stops beating when we're getting chopped. I wrestled Rock and Rebel a million times, but I'd wrestle him anytime.
Is he the hardest chop you've ever taken? Was Rock and Rebel? Because it sounds like it's just absolutely painful.
He throws a real nasty one.
It's just awful.
Yeah, real nasty
and
one.
I wasn't sure if it was maybe the arena or if it's just like...
I wrestled him. I wrestled him at...
It sounds like it's just like absolute shit to take one of his chops.
I wrestled him at one of Rob's CCW shows on a Black Friday several years ago. It was me and Rebel. We were the opening match, and I made the mistake of calling butt chops. So, I got thrown out of the ring, tried to run away from him, tried to crawl over the guardrail, left my ass up in the air, and he rained ass chops for like 6 minutes. Like I went to all sides of the ring, and then he
did he chop your sack too?
No, hang on. He proceeds to roll me over like he's going to kick me in the nuts, and just drops the worst chop ever around my shit. I literally had his handprint on the inner part of my leg for a week and a half.
Say it, around the sack.
Around the sack.
That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Honestly, it took.
But I mean,
he's like
a dad to me, so it's like we always go out there and do something crazy, stupid, funny, comedy, whatever. We know each other so good. We know it's easy.
I just edited the last show, and there's a chop on Pretty Fly. Oh my God.
I think
that had to be painful. And then when he leaves the ring, you see the
just
prints
the hand marks
all over his body, and it's purple.
He's another guy who came, has come a long way. He's a smaller guy, but like he
can take a beating.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
every time I hear Rebel chops, like I'm just like
Mark Mess throws a real nasty chop too.
Went on fire or just
just a regular nasty chop. Yeah,
you like Vanessa Craven's chops too, right?
Oh yeah, Vanessa Craven throws the loudest chop I've ever heard for a woman.
No shit.
It is brutal.
Ooh.
Brutal. Yeah, crazy shit.
Love the chops. Sure do.
All right, guys. Really, that's all the questions we have before we wrap this up.
I thought we were having a sleepover. I did have to take a piss for like the last 2 hours.
Yeah, I've been wiggling.
Before we close this out, let people know where they can follow you and especially the two companies, Atomic and Rogue, and then we're gonna close this out.
Myself is at Real Twisted Tate on Twitter. I have no fucking clue what my Instagram is. Just type in Twisted Tate in the search of Facebook, and I come up. You type in Atomic Championship Wrestling, and it comes up. I think, you know what? I actually made a mistake early on. On Facebook, it's at ACW Pro Wrestling, and that's the same thing for Twitter, at ACW Pro Wrestling. Okay. You know the women's things.
For Rogue, you have RogueWomenWarriors.com. That's where you'll see all the profiles and all the downloads for the women's matches. And it's at Rogue Women War on Twitter and Rogue Women Warriors on Facebook. We also have all the links on the website, so you just have to click and bring you to the social media. As for me, you got the Lufisto.com where you see all my upcoming events. I got some collector's item out, some merchandise, get some cool t-shirts. My DVDs are 2 for 1. And some pictures also 2 for 1.
There you go.
And I'm at the Lufisto Verified on Twitter. And I'm saying verified because there's a lot of fake Lufistos. I try to get rid of them. Doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah, actually subscribe also to Sahara just so people would not use the name Lufisto. Instagram is Wounded Al Lufisto because somebody took Lufisto.
Jesus.
For God's sake.
Fuck them.
Yeah, somebody did it with the ACW website. That's why it's atomicprowrestling.com. Somebody bought AtomicChampionshipWrestling.com. Somebody bought ACWWrestling.com.
Good God.
ACWWrestling.com is currently for sale for like $30,000. It was something stupid. I looked at it the other day.
That's nuts. I'm glad we got 3CountThursday.com.
Yeah, we got that one.
Make
locked
sure
in
also
there.
it's Atomic from Pennsylvania because now there's an Atomic in Florida, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's a
Holy cow. That's another story for another day. We'll have to do this
we'll have
again.
to do this again.
Yeah, definitely.
We can do that.
We're
All right.
local, so we can do this whenever you want to.
Absolutely.
And then it's AtomicProWrestling.com, RogueWomenWarriors.com. Check it out. Check out the DVDs. These guys are great. We thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And
come see us
thanks
this
for having us
Saturday.
in the studio,
Absolutely.
or else Lufisto wouldn't have been on.
That's right. Fuck phone interviews.
That's right.
I don't like phone interviews. Hey, here's my thing with podcasts, all right? Let's
go. Let's
go
let
ahead.
Why not?
Okay.
We're airing grievances.
I love podcasts when it's like this
Everybody
and you
take
actually
note.
take note. When you actually have the discussion and you're hanging out and it's cool and it's fun. But if you have to call me at 11 o'clock at night when I'm in bed because I wake up at 6 because I have 3 cats crying and get feeding every morning, I'm not going to do it. Also, you're asking me for my time, which is cool when you want it, and well, I'm not getting paid for those, so if there's no money, I'm not, I know I sound like a dick right now, but it is what it is. So, yeah.
Just call me. I'll accept your podcast interviews.
There it is.
I'll try my best. I'm a 20-year greenhorn. It's okay.
I'll take donations for wine and Starbucks cards, and I'll talk
Starbucks,
about Jordan
there you
Grace.
go.
Actually, you know what she does? Is she's a smart gal. If somebody wants her in a podcast, she asks them to send her some Panera.
Panera, okay.
I know,
There you
right?
go.
There you go.
Now we know the secret to that one.
There it is.
All right, guys.
Panera.
We thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it, and we have nothing else to talk about, which is perfect. This was an
Absolutely.
awesome show and an absolute blast
That's
for
what
us
she
here
said.
on a Thursday night. Make sure you're
Ooh.
checking out our home
Hey,
network.
did we get 100 likes for this twerk? Because that's going to happen Saturday
Twerk
night.
with
Twerking.
You will have to find out. But make sure you go to ngscsports.com. That's our home network. But you can find everything for us at 3CountThursday.com. Subscribe to us, iTunes, Android, Google Play, and Stitcher. Guys, thank you again. We certainly appreciate it.
Thank you guys for
Twerk,
believing
or
in
you're
us.
a party
and
pooper.
He's a party.
Thanks for
pooper
believing
tonight.
us and having us on here, man.
Oh, thank you guys for doing it. Again, guys, hit that share button for us if you guys like the show. We'll see you next week.